What's up, RotoGrinders? Dean here. Dean 78904. If you want to get all technical, it is Monday, the start of 2 hours nonstop MLB DFS conversation, taking you all the way up to lock 7:05. I believe his first pitch tonight. You have TastefulTides Tim, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth, and Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, coming in at crunch time around 6:15, 6:20 or so. Roth definitely. We always need Roth. We especially need him today. Potentially dicey in Cincinnati. He did update the weather. I believe it was orange-yellow earlier, and now it's yellow-orange, so a little bit more positive, but still absolutely a game you're going to want to keep an eye on there in Cincinnati. I'll drop this link in chat. What's up, chat? Hey, hit that like button. Do subscribe and turn on those notifications. Hey, Brian. What's up, Brian? Herbert Good, Mr. Richard. A lot of the usual suspects hanging out for the 2-hour allotment. Joined today by it's TJ's Lorich, one of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, Canada. TJ, how's Monday treating you?
Monday's treating me really well. Went to for a round of golf this morning. Played 18 holes with my dad and my uncle. That was enjoyable. A lot of sun though, a lot of heat, a lot of wind, and so physically feeling pretty beat. Mentally ready to dive into this baseball slate.
All right. And was that a Father's Day thing? Is that just coincidence? Is that why you went to golf with your dad?
Yeah.
There you go.
Father's Day thing, but we golf together a few times a summer, so it's pretty common.
Competitive? You guys wagering on things? Who usually beats who?
No, he's better. I've beat him on a couple occasions, but he's 66 years old and still shoots low 70s most rounds, so I don't beat him too often.
Is he like fudging a little bit, or you think he's legit? That's a legit 70. He's shooting at 66.
Oh no, he's very good. He's very good.
All right, fair enough. Good for him. Stevie, how are things in the world? Happy Monday. Of course, y'all know Stevie from the Morning Grind and NASCAR, and from rocking his minor league hats. I was trying to figure out what that was on your hat, Stevie, and I got nothing. I don't know what. Do you even know what team that is? I know you have a whole bunch of minor league teams.
It's the Flying Squirrels.
The Flying Squirrel. Of course, it's you say it like, of course. Like, why would we not know that's the Flying Squirrels?
And where are they? Richmond. I'm pretty sure
they're based out of. I was just going to ask, where are they based out of?
Richmond, Virginia. Flying Squirrels. Okay. I could be wrong, but I've had this question come up before, and I'm pretty sure I looked it up, and it was Richmond Flying Squirrels.
There you go. I mean, Richmond is known for their flying squirrel problem, so that would check out for sure. How's Monday for you?
I'll be there in a couple months for the race.
Is that there's an NASCAR race going down?
Yeah, be there. It should be fun. But no, I mean, everything's good for me. I mean, it's just been a normal do some content, make some baby food type of day. I mean, typical day in the life of a dad.
How do you go about making baby food? I mean, I guess there's different ways to get it. I suppose you can buy it already in the store, but is it healthier, I suppose, to make it at home? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's way healthier. I mean, it doesn't have the preservatives and stuff. So, I mean, you just get fruit or vegetables that you want the baby to eat. And sometimes, I mean, so I was just making asparagus for the baby. And so you make it in the Instant Pot for a couple minutes, and then you blend it up, and it's ready to go. See
Kirkwood hanging out in chat as well. I hope that your dog's doing all right. Apparently, he hadn't spent much money on his dog at the vet, and I know if that is that Phil. Hopefully, Phil is feeling better. Let us know if Phil's feeling better there. Kirkwood in chat. Juggalo Nation is behind you on this for sure. Stevie, this slate today, man, it is. I've never been more I don't know, befuddled. I'm wide open. I have no idea what I'm playing tonight. The Reds are my favorite offense, but I think a lot of people's favorite offense. Great ballpark, good matchup. That Colorado team got absolutely annihilated, smashed, whatever adjective you want to use, against the Braves this weekend. A 4-game series. They give up 12 homers, 40 runs. They're limping in here, Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's not a kind ballpark either. They are getting Joey Votto back as well, which is nice to see. I don't know what he has left, but he's 2K on Fanduel for what it's worth. But the pitchers, Stevie, I have no clue. I had a really, really hard time doing my rankings as far as pitchers. I've shuffled them around a couple times. I don't know. I think like 1 through 6 is like all like the same. You could poke holes in every single one of these guys. I'm curious if you feel the same way. I know you looked at it last night in the Morning Grind. I'm sure you looked at it again today. I don't know, man. Normally I'm like, well, I'll just make my lineups and whatever I have salary for, that's how it's going to work. And basically all the pitchers are kind of sort of somewhat the same price. So it's not even going to work that way. It's not like, well, I'm going to spend up or spend down. They're all like basically the same price essentially. Are you gonna help me out, Stevie? Because I'm just I don't know which direction I'm going as far as my lineups today.
No, I mean, I like this slate. I think it's a really interesting slate. I mean, maybe it's because I didn't play NASCAR DFS this weekend. I'm like excited to get back on the grind. Played some F1 yesterday. Was very overweight on a driver that didn't, Lando Norris, who kind of stunk, and then I had a lot of Russell, and he was out really early. So maybe I'm just ready to get back on the daily grind here. But I like the slate. I'm doing a 20-incher max today. What's up with that? I mean, yeah,
it's
I
against
know
your style.
it is. So still doing like single entry and 3-entry max stuff too. I'm just building. I like the slate, so I was like, oh, I'll script it and use some lineup HQ. But I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward that like in my script, like it's Paxton, it's Scherzer, it's Kelly, little bit of Burns. And then if I'm going cheap, maybe like a Bitto or a Smiley. But I mean, I don't like anything cheap really, that I feel like you can kind of narrow it down to the expensive pitchers. And I think Scherzer, Lopez, and Paxton are a little underpriced for the slate. So, I mean, Waka is probably the lowest I'll go in a 3-entry max. I might play some Bitto in a 20-entry max, but kind of where I'm at as far as like narrowing down my pitcher pool. I'm not playing anybody under Bitto. Heaney, maybe if you want some upside, but I think really like in a 3-entry max single entry, I'm not going under Waka.
How about yourself, TJ? I'm not running a bunch of lineups like I presume you are. You probably, I'm guessing you're spreading out a pitcher. It seems like a really good day to spread out. Ownership's kind of spread out as well. Are you taking a stand on a couple of guys? How are you differentiating yourself from the field?
I'm actually so I'm doing 150, and then I'm also doing the single entry in the 121, and so I'm keeping a pretty tight pool today, honestly, for pitchers and bats. Like I am spreading out among the 6 pitchers in my pool quite a bit, but I'm only going to be playing 6 of them today. I'm just going to be spending up. I'm not going to be messing around with any of the cheap guys, and then I'm going to be differentiating and spreading out with the few stacks that I have. But even then, like I'm really not like it's a much tighter pool than I would typically have when running 150 lineups.
You're just rostering 6 pitchers, you said? That's it?
Yeah.
Interesting. So one of Scherzer, Paxton, Lopez, Burns, Waka, Brown, and Kelly is not in your pool, but the other 6 are.
Correct.
Huh. Well, what do you think, Stevie? Let's figure this out. Scherzer, Paxton, Lopez, Burns, Waka, Kelly, Brown. Who's not in the pool amongst that group?
I would assume he took Brown and Lopez out.
Well, it's just one. It's just going to be one.
I mean, those are the 2 that I'm considering taking out. So
my guess will be Brown too. He's the most expensive. We're talking DK, right?
Yeah. So it's Kelly for me, and and Stevie, I want you to pitch me why I need him in my pool.
I mean, he's almost like an ace at the. Oh, I mean, he is an ace. He's almost elite at this point. So. I mean, Milwaukee's not an offense that you're really typically scared of. There's a lot of strikeouts in this lineup. I mean, just looking at his ownership, I think you should get excited about playing him, not crossing him out. So for me, I thought he was going to come in closer to like 30%. So I was kind of excited seeing him around 20%, switching over to our projected ownership. So he's like 20 to 23% between the bat and our ownership. So I think he's a guy that should be closer to like 30 because I think he has the upside and ceiling to break the slate.
TJ, retort.
Are
you sold?
I'm not really. Like whenever Stevie likes a pitcher, it makes me want to go, okay, well, I should get this pitcher in my pool. Anytime he's heavy on somebody in the morning grind, I always take note and I make sure that I get him in there. And so I'll probably put him in the pool, but I'm not super sold. This is a guy that's given up almost a 50% hard hit rate to the left side of the plate. Now there is only 4 lefties in the lineup. I thought maybe there'd be a couple more, so that actually is a bigger bump than I expected. But then walking a ton of righties, so I do worry about playing him a little bit. Not that I don't like him, I just really like Paxton, Burns, and Scherzer more. Those are the guys that I'm getting a lot of today. And then, but I think I'm okay with keeping him in the Brown, Lopez, Waka pool.
Yeah, I mean, so really quick, Dean, like to kind of counter his counter, because it's a 7-game slate and we have a ton of time.
We got time, man.
I mean, Yelich is a guy.
I also kind of want to be convinced, so counter away.
Yeah, I mean, Yelich is a ground ball hitter. He's one of the lefties. Winker has no power. His power disappeared when he left Cincinnati. Tellis is the guy you're obviously worried about. Tapia doesn't have any power. You're right on it with the walks. I mean, that's the biggest problem. He's facing a patient offense. That's the biggest concern when you're looking at him. I will say that, that's the one thing I'm worried about the most. But his year walk rate is around 10%. If we look over the last month, it's around 6%. So he's kind of, as the season has progressed, the strikeouts have gotten better and the walks have gone down. So, I mean, there's a lot of good things you're seeing out of Kelly. Milwaukee's a team that easily can go out and strike out 8+ times. So I think if you're kind of looking at Kelly and you're looking at like Hunter Brown to kind of switch the conversation a little bit, we don't have a lot of strikeouts in this Mets lineup. And I think that's the biggest difference when you're looking at it. There's a low strikeout team, maybe a little bit heavier with the lineup that the Mets are going to roll out there. But overall, I'm with you. I like Paxton and Scherzer. They're my favorite two pitchers tonight. I just like Kelly for tournaments. I don't typically, even when I'm running like a 20-inch or max, go over like 40% on a pitcher. So, I mean, if I go 40% Paxton, 40% Scherzer, then I can get plenty of Kelly as well.
We got a Rangers lineup: Semien, Seager, Young, Garcia, Lowe, Heim, Duran, Garver, Tavares. Brewers also just came out. I think you guys are referencing it. Yelich, Winker batting the 2-hole. He's been terrible, like you said, Stevie. Injured as well. Injured and terrible. Combination of those two things. Adames, Tellis.
I mean, it has to be injury, right? Because he was so good. And like ballpark, obviously Cincinnati ballpark helps, but like just not even like warning track power everywhere.
He's stuck in Seattle too, right? It's dated back to Seattle ever since he left Cincinnati.
I
think was it a wrist? He had some sort of injury that kind of zapped him, or maybe it was kind of fluky. He overachieved in Cincinnati. That'll happen sometimes too.
I mean, overachieving definitely looks like the case because like you can say like Chris and Yelich, he had that like 2 really good seasons and like he was someone that was awesome, and then like he got hurt and like his numbers just kind of got really bad. So I feel like it's just there's a little bit of a difference.
The wild thing about Yelich, there was several years where he had a home run the fly ball rate that was like 35%, which is just, it was like a glaring outlier, right? I'm pulling that up now. I'm curious now.
It was like an automatic play any time that he faced a fly ball guy there for the longest time.
Yeah, but I mean, like you can't sustain a home run the fly ball rate of like 35%. Like that's just not possible, I don't think. Here you go. I just pulled it up. Just in 2018, he had a 35% home run the fly ball rate. In 2019, a 32.8%. In 2020, 32.4%. For his career, 21.5%. This year, 17.6. 2021, 13.2. Right? It's just, but it was a 3-year sustained at least 32%, which is kind of outrageous. And I don't think like a guy like Ohtani, like none of those guys. It's the leader in the league at home run to fly balls, probably like 30% this year. Now I'm just we're derailing the show.
Right? Ohtani's has been like 100% in the last 2 weeks. 3 likes away for Spidey Bomb number 1. We'll drop the second one at 100 likes. We'll keep doing them every 50 likes like we always do on Grinders Live. One of the reasons why I don't love the Milwaukee stack, but one of the reasons why I wasn't super keen on Kelly off the bat is I do like this individual bat a ton today. And Spidey Bomb number 1 is Rowdy Tellez plus 460 over on Caesars, and plus 420 on Fanduel, and I like him as a DFS play quite a bit as well today.
By the way, I did pull it up. I was curious. This is qualifying batters. It is Shohei Ohtani. Of course it's Shohei Ohtani because he leads the league in everything, or at least the Angels in everything. By the way, he was 12-1 to win the home run crown. I think it was like 8 days ago or something like that. I was looking at it yesterday or a couple days ago. It was 4-1 on FanDuel. But and obviously the injury to Alvarez threw things off. The injury to Judge threw things off, and Alfonso, all 3 of those guys, Alonso, like all got injured basically at the same time. But what would you guess, Stevie? This is the league leading home run the fly ball rate. Shohei Ohtani, put a number on it. What's your guess? Price is Right rules.
47%.
27?
47.
47. Okay. Price is Right rules. 47.
I got $1, Dean. 37.
Yeah. Let's go 37. No, we're not doing closest too, so 37.
No, it's 28.9% is number 1.
I should have stuck with 27. You got excited when you said 27. I should have been like, yeah, that's what I said, but no.
Yeah. But then I thought you went from 27 to 47, and 47. We were just talking about Yelich.
I thought it was like
35.
Yeah. I thought it was like you were trying to blow it up into like a giant number on purpose.
No.
Okay.
No. I wasn't
All right.
trying to sway you.
So
Maybe I did
it's
a bad
okay.
job hosting. I apologize though I derailed that. But yeah, number 2, by the way, Yordan Alvarez, Muncy, Alonso, JD Davis, Tatis. A lot of the usual suspects. No really shocking names there. All right. Just these are the things we can talk about in the 7-game slate, the batted ball stuff. Do you look into this stuff, TJ? Is this something you care about? Is this part of your process? I don't look at it every day, but I like to look at it just, and like I'll look at the savant and seeing like who's smashing the ball hard, who's getting unlucky, the expo, but that kind of thing. Is this stuff you care about or not necessarily?
I don't not care about it, but I also don't look into it all that often. I usually just kind of wait for other people to tell me about it.
I'm told there is a BBP in the chat, by the way. You mentioned Rowdy Tellez. Are you secretly a BBP truther, TJ? Do you have access to Head Chopper's BBP algorithm?
I have access to nothing other than what the good man Spider-Man tells me is going to hit a home run that day.
Okay, so I read this wrong. Bospora in chat says Tellez BBP LOL. This will test the Spidey senses. Rowdy Tellez, he's 0 for 11 versus Kelly. So that means he's due, right?
Yeah, that's what that means.
Sure.
That's what the math says.
The math doesn't say that. Like the roulette wheel is never due for like a 20 or a red, or that's not how the math, or whatever. Derailing the conversation again, I suppose. But and somebody did say Joey Votto has BBP, but like, come on, this is a different person than he was so many years ago. Let's see, 5 for 9 against Austin Gomber. A couple strikeouts and a walk, left on left. TJ, you taking a stand as far as ownership stuff? Like you said, you have 6 guys in the pool. I'm looking at our ownership
7
as of right now. What's that?
7 now.
Oh, you officially got swayed. You're in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't that hard to get swayed.
So our projection, this is kind of like
Kelly struggles against sinkers. That's why he struggles against Kelly.
Well, there you go. Tell that to Spidey. Are you saying Spidey's wrong, Stevie?
No, I'm saying that number that he's getting for Spidey Bum is definitely worth him playing. I'm just saying the reason that he struggled against him in the past is because he's really bad against sinkers.
Yeah. I never really know. It's funny. Like I don't look at that stuff. Like I know it's all that stuff in the Plate IQ, and that you can dig and find everything on there. But I just I tend to find that a lot of that kind of stuff is just small sample stuff, and you never really know when the pitchers are going to throw that, and you never know what pitchers are going to face for how long in the game.
Yeah, but they're looking at the same data that we're looking at, and now with like the earpieces and all this stuff, and like I mean, pitches are getting called from upstairs and all this stuff. I mean, the game has changed so much in like the last year and a half as far as like numbers and analytics. Like, I feel like if there's ever a time to look at more sample or smaller sample size, like 90 at bats, I mean, the guys that are calling the pitches up in the booth are telling them that, hey, this guy, you can attack him down and away. His weak spot is down and away. I mean, the pitcher still has to execute the pitch, but like, think about, okay, hear me out. Think about like Greg Maddux having all this analytic stuff now, like as much as he was like the control guy that he was, man, he would have, I still think Greg Maddux would have dominated in this age of baseball too.
He also got 2 inches off the plate, up, down, left, and right. Like umpires loved Greg Maddux. I don't know, I'm sure you watched him pitch, Steve.
Oh, I mean, I watched him pitch a lot. Chipper Jones is from my hometown, so I watched the Braves play a lot.
They were very friendly to him, to Greg Maddux, the umpires, for whatever reason. Respect. He earned it over years, I suppose. But the corners that guy would get, he was very, very lucky. Royal Priest is with me, probably the most mysterious pitching slate all season, and that's where I'm at as well. And ownership's there as well. TJ, 28%. This is on DK. Burns, 28% Burns, 26% Scherzer, who got his face fully punched in last time against a terrible Yankee team. I mean, he had one inning where it just really blew up in his face. Lopez at 24, Kelly at 20, Paxton at 20. So right there, those 5 are getting between 20 and 28%. And I was thinking like earlier today, well, I'm just going to play the guys that are like less owned because I think they're all kind of sort of basically the same in the same bucket. But also the ownership is kind of sort of basically the same. Also the projection, our median projection on Burns on DK, 17 points. Scherzer, 17 points. Lopez, 17.6. Kelly, 17.5. The weird one is Paxton, 14.8. I don't agree with that. I think he's just as good as the rest of them. And there are some Ks in that Minnesota lineup, especially some left-on-left stuff. Left-on-left stuff was Julien and Gallows in there as well. So I don't agree with our projection there, TJ. I don't know why Paxton is not of a similar projection amongst the Burns, Scherzer, Lopez, and Kelly. Do you agree with that? Do you have him down as far as your ownership stuff?
No, he's going to be my highest owned guy today, and he's also going to be the one in my single entry that I prioritize. So if like in my single entry lineup, I know my other pitcher is probably going to be Burns or Scherzer. Which one yet depends on the stack and how much salary that I need. But I definitely know that Paxton's going to be in there.
Yeah. Stevie, how do you feel about Paxton? Boston Red Sox. I imagine you watched several of his starts this year.
He's my favorite pitcher on the slate. I mean, he's a guy that he looks fantastic. His strikeout stuff against right-handed hitters has been fantastic this year. And he's really just kind of doing it with a fastball, cutter, changeup kind of thing. Which is very interesting, and he's just dominating right-handed hitters. That's where he's still like struggling power-wise too, but I mean he's sitting at a 37% K rate against righties. So yeah, I mean Paxton's been fantastic this year.
Yeah, if he's going to be the lowest owned amongst this group,
I don't think he is. I don't either. Yeah, I think that I don't. I mean I agree with our projections team a lot when it comes to projected ownership. I just feel like this might be one of the ones that is just going to come in a little bit higher because I feel like so many people across the industry are talking about Paxton today.
Okay. So most people aren't like me just throwing their hands up saying, I don't know. I guess you're supposed to take a stand, right? But I ranked.
Not everyone likes 10%, Bean.
That
joke never gets old.
I know.
God, that feels like it was like 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe even longer than that.
It's just as untrue today as it was 5 years ago. But
it's still
the
fun,
label's the label. Yeah, I can't fight it. I'm going to just embrace it. Also, he got the rainbow as far as the tags. Like Paxton's got everybody tagged him with something. On our lineup page, Kiesel. Scherzer got the orange. I don't know, is that from Squirrel? No, Squirrel's got Lopez. Oh, you were on Salary Savers. I guess you have no Salary Saver pitchers.
Nope.
Yeah. I don't want to save a pitcher. I don't. If there was a guy that we're going to save with, who would it be? I think TJ mentioned. You mentioned Bido, right?
Yeah, that's the only guy. Like, I'm debating on leaving Heaney in my pool right now. I think Bido is someone you can take shots on. The Cubs are really good or really bad. Games in Pittsburgh, ballpark helps a little bit. But I mean, he has been someone that has just kind of shown stuff that he can strike people out in every level that he's pitched at. So if it can continue, I think he's really interesting. His strikeout rate in that first game was like 31%, more of like a 21% guy, but his swinging strike rate in the minors when he progressed through the levels of the minors was always really good. So like he definitely has stuff to make people whiff. He's not a huge prospect by any means. He's like 27 years old. I think he was drafted in like 17 or 18. So he's been around in the minor league system for a while.
I see they're mentioning Ryan Walker in chat. He is 4K on DK, but he's not going to throw like more than a couple innings. I don't understand why we would consider playing him. He pitched an inning and a third last time out on the 16th, just a couple days ago. I believe we're projecting him for 36 pitches. Like, why? What am I missing?
I think he maxes out at like 50. Like a literal ceiling is like 50 pitches.
Yeah. So what's the point? Why would we do that?
I mean, I'm not playing him.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. TJ Walker is not in your pool, right? 4K. What's the point? I know he's 4K, but like, what is his possible ceiling?
No, we don't play openers.
Eric's talking about Gomber. I'm not shocked at all. That's a leverage play, I suppose. And somebody else was asking about the weather, and I did drop the Kevin Roth weather report in chat. Again, it's last we saw yellow-orange. It was orange-yellow earlier today, so I presume that means it got a little bit better. The dominant color is the first color, so orange-yellow is scarier than yellow-orange, so I guess we should feel a little bit better. Roth, of course, will be on in less than an hour. He'll give you guys the update, the most up-to-date update when it comes to Colorado and Cincinnati, and, of course, all the way up to lock. He will be advising and tell you what's going on in Cincy. But as a general thought, like we don't need pitchers there anyway, so I just want to know if the game's going to get played. Delay, who cares? Is that your thought, TJ, as well, as far as Colorado, Cincy? We don't care about the pitchers.
No, exactly. Like, maybe if you're running 150 lineups and feeling crazy, you can take shots on these guys just because they're 5K. But as soon as you look at that weather report, there's just no point. There's just no reason to even chance it.
Can I give out like a Venom bomb? Because you're like giving out Spidey bombs. Can I give out a Venom bomb? Bellinger is like one of my favorite home run plays today.
Why Bellinger? Why is Bellinger?
He profiles really good against that young kid. What is it, Bitto? He profiles really well against him. Looking at like batted ball like stuff, he profiles really well. So I think he is a really good home run play, even in that ballpark.
Let's see. Tauchman leading off. Horner.
You like the Venom?
Suzuki.
Come on, TJ. I'm with my Spidey words. Let's go.
I do love it, but I got to admit that's actually Blender's home run.
It's been claimed. Yeah.
Oh
Blender
my
uses
gosh. Oh well, I mean that tells you how much I watch Blender.
Well, the funny thing is, Stevie. The way he does his Blender, his Venom bombs, he literally just goes to the bat and tells you the top 2 or 3 guys that are projected.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't do that, so I mean,
yeah. It just
mine was more creative. What shocking? Mine was more creative than Blender's. I'm just kidding, Jordan. I love you,
Stevie. Alex had a question in your chat, and I we have time for it. So when we were talking about the, you're digging through, is this guy versus sliders, this guy versus this, and these struggles. Alex was asking, do you think they're looking at non-contact versus pitches over whiffs and chases when it comes to the data on?
I think they're looking at everything. Okay, so I don't know if this is like a thing, but I've been in a race team's like shop before, and they have these war rooms where they have like during races, they have like 5 to 8 people. Some teams have more than that, and they like have TVs and computers up. We're crazy if we're not thinking that like there is a team of like 3 to 10 people of every team has that are watching every statistic during baseball games. We're crazy if we don't think that.
Oakland doesn't have any.
You're crazy if you don't think that.
Oakland might have like one guy, like Jonah Hill's.
Oakland just knows. Oakland knows they're bad, and they're just like they throw their hands up and like, all right, we don't have any money. We're trying to get to Vegas.
But Tampa's got like 20 of those dudes. That I believe.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if every team, even Oakland, has I wouldn't even war room kind of thing.
Yeah.
Some of the ones for NASCAR teams are crazy, by the way.
What have you seen? What can you talk about? Aren't you supposed to be silent about it?
No, I'm not supposed to be seen. I mean, I basically just told you, like, it's not a secret. They've interviewed Chase Elliott when he was hurt from like Hendrick's war room on the broadcast. So I mean, it's not a secret. It's very interesting. I mean, it would be an awesome place to watch NFL Sunday because there's so many TVs. Just picture a lot of TVs being able to talk directly to the team from the war room and listen to everybody's radio. I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, I've been in a couple of them, and they're all very high tech rooms.
Question: if let's say I'm like a big time NASCAR fan, I love NASCAR, and what you're selling me, you're talking about sounds super exciting. Why doesn't NASCAR offer that as like a package, like $1,000? You buy it for the year, and you get to like listen to whatever team you want to listen to, or is that
they do?
I mean,
it's not $1,000. You can listen. Yeah, you can listen to it.
Well, I can jump around and listen to whatever I want to listen to.
Yeah. If you have the NASCAR app, I think it's like $3.99 a month or something.
I thought I just invented something, but I guess I did.
There's been, I mean, yeah.
Oh, I thought I had like a bright idea. Like
where you were going with it, I was like, why don't teams like sell like a ticket to like the war room for a race? Like that's where it would be interesting. Like, let me go in the war room for a race. I think if you had like diehard fans, like pay $500 to do that.
You know how every once in a while at the end of the race they get hit with like your car was too low or this was too light. How much of that is like really going on? How much do they actually?
Everybody is cheating every week.
Okay,
I'm convinced
it's always happening. It's always happening. It's different degrees of cheating,
especially now. Like with this new car, I feel like teams are testing and pushing the limits. Like it might not be like specific cars, but like if you have like there's data where like, oh man, here we go. You got me going, Dean. But like there's a guy, just say X driver was really good at this track. He has a win. He's in the playoffs. William Byron did this last year. We'll just throw that out there. So he won 2 races really early last year and then really sucked during the summer. He was testing stuff all summer for Hendrick and all the cars in Hendrick, whether it be cheating stuff, non-cheating stuff, like it happens every week. It might not be like the car that's like winning the race.
Yeah.
But like the 25th place car that's really good at a track, he sucks this week because he doesn't want to be good. They're testing stuff.
Oh, so it's kind of like a tank job in a sense?
I mean, it's not even a tank job. They're just testing stuff.
Interesting. So they're playing the long game.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a car that everyone has the same parts and pieces, you gotta figure out how to make it faster than everybody else.
Is there a Domingo Herman that's like a multiple time offender? Like this is the person we got to really Gibbs or.
I mean, if you go, oh gosh, dude, if you go back and you listen to some of the podcasts from like Dale Jr. does the podcast all the time with like older drivers and crew chiefs and stuff, dude, they were putting like NOS in the car, like having containers of NOS like hidden in roll bars.
Fast
and
and the Furious.
Like it is, yeah. I mean, like it is something that like everybody, if you're not cheating and racing or trying to like work, like do stuff around the rules, like you're running 25th every week.
Do you care about the racing at all there, TJ? Is that do anything for you? You ever dabble in the NASCAR DFS streets?
I dabble a lot in the Fast and the Furious streets. So as soon as we started talking about NOS, we're talking my language.
You got excited. There you
Fast
go.
and Furious should have ended like 4 movies ago.
Oh, shots fired.
I mean, I'm not saying that I don't watch them. I'm just saying it should have ended like 4 movies ago.
They should never end. It's like a license to print money. Why would they ever end it?
I mean, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, as a person that loved like the Fast and the Furious movies, I feel like, you know, they should have ended 4 movies ago.
I don't know. They've always been pretty terribly amazing, and
they are. That's what they are, though, right?
That's a great way to describe
that's
them.
the thing. And so it's just like 9 and even Hobbs and Shaw weren't the best, but I really think they came back with 10 and was just like, it was awful. The dialogue was terrible, but it was classic Fast and Furious. Like,
what was your favorite one out of the 10 so far?
Fast 5.
Okay, the first one was my favorite.
Fair.
The Rocketeers in Fast 5 is
Too Fast and Furious.
Too Fast Furious. Yeah, that one was good. That one was good.
Paul Walker, Brian O'Connor looks directly at Tyrese's character Roman and says, "I said forget about it, cuh." So like the dialogue has been terrible since like day one, and so it's I love it. I love it. It's some classic stuff. Going back to a Venom Bomb, if we were talking all day, you know who the Venom Bomb would have been for Blender today, going to the bat projections. Who do you think? I guess you get a hint.
Corey Seager.
They're already playing, but who do you think is the player most likely to hit a home run today, according to the bat?
Somebody in St. Louis, Washington, because Washington had a fire emoji, really good weather. So somebody in that, well, that's the only game going on, right? So I don't know. Josiah Gray was pitching against the guy, Flaherty. So the answer is probably, let's see, Gorman. I'll take a lefty versus Gray.
It was Goldschmidt, and so I
put
put him in there in all of my home runs today, including the Spidey Bombs and the people on the night slate, and I got him in all my parlays, and he hit one. So it's a good start to the slate already.
Yeah, that was a good over bet too. 6-5 currently in the 5th inning. Whenever you see the fire emoji, at least me, I get excited about it. That just means like the weather and the wind and the dew point and all that stuff is lined up. I don't think we have any fire emojis tonight. I think there's one in Houston, but like they're gonna close the roof because they wouldn't subject their fans, I would imagine, to. Oh, actually, there is a fire emoji in Minnesota. We got one in Minnesota tonight, which isn't great because we like both those pitchers there. At least I do. But that's one reason, I suppose. If you want to like break some ties, it's really good weather there. A 4-game sample is 4-game sample. What are you gonna do with that? But in a 4-game sample, 41% bump in homers, 57% bump in runs scored, 88 degrees. Now, there's a kind of a crosswind, or I guess the wind's coming in from right field at 10 miles per hour. But again, we got a fire emoji there in Minnesota.
Extreme hitters up for those two, too, actually.
I mean, look, if I'm not here to say that I don't like Paxton and I don't like Lopez, but I like other pitchers just basically the same. And that might be enough to get me away from it, And we'll talk stacks and hitters soon enough, obviously. But to me, it's just like I think I've expressed it pretty clearly. It's so close with Lopez and Kelly and Scherzer and Burns and Paxton and Brown. Waka, you're getting a nice little discount as well, at least on DK at 8.3K. I think he's 10K in Fanduel, which probably going to be out of the running for me in like just a couple lineups I'm running over there. Steve, are you concerned at all about Scherzer getting his face fully punched in last time, or we're just going to like forgive him and just assume he's okay and he gives him another solo homer because he's going to give him a homer probably and hopefully know he's on base?
I mean, I love this spot for Scherzer. If there was ever a bounce back spot, he got destroyed by the B team Yankees last time out. The best thing for Scherzer is seeing 8 righties in the lineup. I mean, you can't get more excited if you're playing Scherzer today because even though they're not bad, I mean, this lineup's good. We know Houston's a good lineup, but just look at what his numbers have been against righties for the last 10 years. He has dominated right-handed hitters for years. Even this year with his struggles, he has dominated righties. 33% K rate, 38.5% K rate over the last month. WOBA down to 250 over the last month. ISO's come way down. He has not walked a single right-handed hitter in the last month. So, I mean,
wow.
Scherzer has been fantastic against righties here after kind of getting back into being like Max Scherzer type of, workload type of stuff.
Yeah, so the absence of Yordan Alvarez, they only have one lefty available. That's interesting with Tucker. Everybody else is right-handed. Altuve, Bregman, Tucker, Abreu, Diaz, McCormick, Pena, Myers, and Maldonado. And that back end strikes out a fair bit with Pena, Myers, Maldonado, McCormick as well. Yeah, and you're also getting a discount on Scherzer too. So the difference in Ks this year, 33.3% versus righties, 20.7% versus lefties. Yeah, I mean, I might play Max. Good ballpark to pitch in as well. Well, actually, he's on the road in Houston. Better for righty power. You can get those cheap homers with the.
I mean, you can
boxes.
stack against him too.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, I don't think I'm going to today because of how many righties are in the lineup. But I mean, Scherzer's always a guy that can give up 1 to 3 home runs in any start and strike out 10. So I think stacking against him is definitely playable today as well.
We should bring in producer Steve, a noted Met fan. I'm sure he's like feeling overly confident about the Mets and how Scherzer's going to pitch today. I don't know if Steve's available to jump in, but I'm sure he has some really kind words to say about his Metropolitans. Steve?
No.
All right. Dynamite drop in there.
Cards got to enjoy his Cardinals beat up on us this weekend. The Mets have lost 6 straight games where they've scored more than 7 runs in the game. I think Max actually might do good, but yeah, I'd say he's good to give up like 1 or 2 home runs as well. And like you nailed it, hopefully no one's on base. But
you got Alonso back. Polar Bear is healed pretty quickly. He came back much quicker than people suspected, so that's good to see, I guess. But yeah, I guess the Mets are now officially, since they lost that series for St. Louis, they're officially the most disappointing team on the year. Stay tuned, though. You never know. There's still hope, I suppose. We're still waiting for San Diego and the Giants as far as lineups. Everybody else, we have their lineups. I'm trying to see if there's anything else in chat that's worth talking about as far as pitchers. We did see Bobby Gomes trashing the Fast and the Furious. What's up, Bobby? He said basically after the first one, that's it. They should have stopped. He said he watched Fast 10. Cannot believe Chop liked it so much. Why did he rent it? Did he hate watch it? Did you know going in? Like, you bought the ticket, you know what you're getting yourself into when you're buying Fast. When you say 2 for Fast and the Furious, like, you just got to turn your brain off and just.
Especially when you're like questions. Fast 10. I need 2 tickets to Fast. Like, you know what you're getting at Fast 10.
You lose the right to complain because you know what you're buying.
Bobby is hot enough right now that he's allowed to complain about whatever he wants.
Yeah, fair enough.
Won another 40K last night.
Did he? Jeez,
yeah, he's been crushing.
Outrageous. He's like Hansel. Congratulations.
Nothing else on TV. I mean, that makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. There's a billion different things to stream. There's a billion things on TV.
You can't talk until you watch some of these. Like, you have to watch the finale of Friday Night Lights.
Yes, I still have to watch that.
Space Jam. Like, no more talking.
Correct.
I have put my foot down. You're not allowed to say anything until you start watching some of this stuff.
You know what? Myself and TJ, we were going to make a bet and make a movie bet, and like the loser has to watch the movie of the other person's choosing. We'll probably disagree on something throughout the show, TJ. Keep your ears open, and we'll have a wager. I'm actually going to I will sign you a good movie. I'm going to do you a favor, and like I don't.
Well, Shrek is a great movie.
If you're 7 years old,
Shrek is a great movie
for everyone, Dean. Literally everyone.
You haven't seen Shrek either?
No. Why would I see Shrek? I'm not a child. All right. It's streaming on Disney or something. I had the Disney, but whoever fires that up.
Dean's so uncultured.
Wait, it's possible I can be uncultured, but like it's not because I've not seen Shrek.
It is.
That's
You're
not
just
the
going out of
reason
your way
why.
to not watch Oscar movies. I thought you seem like a guy who would watch all the Oscar award-winning movies.
I like a good film. I like good cinema, and it's probably fine. But there's so many other things to watch. I probably won't hate it, but we'll see. I'll report back if I happen to lose a wager. We'll disagree on something, TJ. Maybe organically something will come up, and we'll have to get a bet going down. Give me the summary here as far as pitchers. Did we miss anybody? Anything else worth talking about as far as pitchers, TJ? It's like they're all sort of clumped together, and that's 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. I feel like you feel the same way, more or less.
Yeah, more or less I do. Like, even just seeing that, like, Paxton was my number one guy, and he actually is in a hot weather game with an extreme hitting umpire. Now, he still is my number one guy, but in my previous build, I had him at 60%. In my most recent, I have him at 47%. And so I got Paxton, Scherzer, and Burns all over 40%. And then I actually just added in Bido just to kind of see what some of the builds would look like.
Yeah.
And then Lopez, Kelly, and Brown, I'm getting about 10% of each of them only.
By the way, in chat, I don't know if I'm botching your name. I apologize. Ikim is mentioning Black Mirror. Talk about Black Mirror. I saw my very first episode of Black Mirror. I know people are chatting it up. You probably would have taken this, TJ. This is what their sixth season just came out, and they're all sort of in their own little world. But I watched one for the first time. Like, hey, let's give it a shot. Pretty good. It was pretty interesting. I want to see more. I want to watch more. Recommend me your favorite Black Mirror movie. Do you have one off the dome?
No, that kind of stuff isn't for me. I respected it. I think it's good quality, but it's not for me.
You'd rather watch Shrek, is what you're saying.
I would rather watch Shrek, yes.
Steve, are you aware of the Black Mirror?
I haven't watched it. I don't watch a lot of TV.
Fair enough. All right. Stevie, give me your summary as far as pitchers as we pivot over to talk about some of the stacks, some of the sticks.
I mean, I kind of said it. 3-entry max stuff. I'm very focused on Scherzer, Waka, Paxton, Kelly. Yeah, not miss anybody. And those are the three guys or four pitchers that I have in my 40% that I talked about with the 20-entry max stuff. And actually, I got 45% Scherzer in my last build here, and I really like the build overall for stacks and what the lineups look like, so I might just leave it.
Yes, Michael's saying Black Mirror is much darker than Shrek. Yeah, not surprising. The episode I watched, by the way, I guess I call it an episode, but they're all sort of their own little deal, right? I watched Joan is Awful, which was really, really trippy, and it was pretty interesting, and I would recommend it. It was pretty fun, and now I want to see more. So maybe I'll send out a tweet. I want to get to the people to tell me what the next Black Mirror movie I should be watching. Okay, let's talk about stacks. Taking a look at our consensus value rankings. Myself, the Luch, Head Chopper, Keith Eister. Our consensus rankings, number one as far as stacks, pretty clearly it is Cincinnati. Cincinnati number one, Texas number two, San Diego number three, the Cubbies, then Colorado. I did not rank Colorado personally. Got to rank 5 of these. The White Sox, and then Pittsburgh. Chop was the only one to say Pittsburgh. Myself and Keith both have the White Sox. Pretty good prices on some of their better bats. We did get an update from Roth as well. I can drop this in chat. Straight yellow right now for Cincinnati. So it appears it's getting better, more optimistic. Roth will be coming on in about a half hour and give you some more clarity. But here you go. Check that out. Read that at your own leisure. We do have Henry, by the way. Henry coming up today for Pittsburgh. Should have noted that. Of course, he's 2K on DK, one of the biggest prospects, one of the bigger prospects in baseball. I thought he was a catcher. He's playing the outfield. I'm not sure if he plays both. I do know he has
ability though.
Yeah. So he is playing the outfield. I'm not sure what I thought he'd be their catcher. Doesn't matter. But yeah, like you said, he's got catcher eligibility in DK, and he's 2K, and he's got 70 raw power according to Fangraphs. So I'm in on that as a cheap catcher. Just good to see when the prospects start getting called up. He's like 23, 24 or so it's about time. Yeah. What do you think here, TJ, as far as the stacks I ran off? I can give a little summary once again, since I derailed it for a second. Cincinnati, Texas, San Diego, Cubbies, Colorado, White Sox, Pittsburgh. What's too high? What's too low? What should we kick off the board? What should we put on the board? Do you feel staunchly that Cincinnati is definitively the best stack today?
I think the board is pretty perfect, except I would be bumping up Pittsburgh. I like the Pittsburgh stack quite a bit today. I would have them a little bit higher than 6th or 7th, wherever they were there. I'd maybe bump the Cubs down and put Pittsburgh up above them there. And the other team that really stood out to me today once I started doing my builds was the White Sox. And what stood out to me is they are my least, of all the teams in my pool, they're my least owned 5-man stack, but they are my highest owned 3-man stack. So I'm really not getting to a lot of the team as a whole, but I'm getting to a ton of Robert, Jimenez, and Berger.
What sort of rules are you putting in general? Are you forcing is a 5-3 and that's that? Or you're kind of giving yourself some wiggle room with some 4-4s? What kind of rules are you putting in the old NFHQ?
5 somethings. So I'm good with 5-3s, 5-2s, 5Xs, all of the above. I have no problem with. Right now I have it as 40% 5-3s, 30% 5-2s, 30% 5Xs.
Steve, you're making 20 lineups. Are you sticking by similar rules or you have different rules?
60% 5s, 70% 5s, and then 20% 4-4s and 10% 3-3s.
Yeah, and as far as stacks, Stevie, I can recap them again one more time. Cincinnati, Texas, San Diego, Chicago, that's the Cubs, Colorado, the White Sox, Pittsburgh. How do you feel as far as our stack? Okay, so they're all on the board for you, all 7.
The only other, so the only other stack that I'm looking at is the Cubs. Young pitcher, always like looking at a stack like that. Just, not even a lot, maybe 1 or 2 of those stacks. But, my main stack's going to be Cincinnati, Colorado, Texas, and San Diego. Like the Pittsburgh Pirates a lot today, using them way more as like secondary stacks and like in those like 5X builds, getting a lot of one-offs there. Dean, I really hope you know who Henry Davis is. You gotta be in on these prospects, Dean.
Dude, you realize I just talked about him 2 minutes ago.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, you were a little like he's been playing the outfield in AAA this year. They have another huge prospect catcher as well, Rodriguez, that they've been playing him a little at first base and trying to get these guys up there. I assume if they called up Davis, we're going to see Rodriguez soon too.
I don't want to do season-long talk, but I just picked him up in my season-long league. That's how on top of it I am. So
my man.
Yeah.
Is it the RG season-long league? I haven't checked mine in like 3 weeks.
I think you're struggling there. I don't want to call you out.
my draft was not good. Draft was not good.
It's a different league that I'm in, but yeah, I did pick him up, and we have it might have been a keeper league, or I'm in too many leagues. I get talked to with my friends, and it's a whole thing. And I always forget when we bid for what's the quick term they use? Like you spend certain fab is like 11:30 on a Sunday night. It's like, I don't know this. Like, who remembers this stuff? But all right, this is my own.
Chop is in chat saying he ran over here when he heard Bobby Gomes said he had bad taste in movies.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next Bobby and Chop show for sure. But yeah, look, Bobby's entitled to his opinion, and he's been hotter than Chopper of late. Although Chop's pretty hot too, so I guess they both have a justifiable opinion. But I would just say this, like,
everybody's movie takes are better than Dean's, so we're good.
Jeez, it's outrageous. That's
true.
Insulting. What do you mean? Why would you pile on like that, TJ? It's really no movie takes are.
So many good movies that you haven't seen.
I've seen like all of them many times.
You've seen all the movies.
Yeah, I finished them.
Earlier today, you gave me flack when I said I knew almost all the people in Saskatoon, and
which was an outrageous claim.
People, and you just said you've seen all the movies, and that's a far more ridiculous take.
No, it's a ridiculous take. It's not far more ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
The claim that 300,000 people, every single person you could pick them out in a lineup in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, that's outrageous. You can't just like walk in the grocery store. Oh, that's Shelly. That's Tom. He's a mailman. You can't do that.
I can.
You know, like 0.1%. You can. I'm going to fly up there and just put this to the test.
Dean,
what you're saying is outrageous.
While that is ridiculous, of course, that was a ridiculous hyperbole thing for me to say. There are over 10 million movies that exist. That's so much more ridiculous.
If we worked out the equation, 10 million divided by the number of movies I saw, and 300,000 divided by the number of people actually in Saskatoon, your number is more outrageous than mine. That's where I'll stand at.
Nowhere close.
Close. There's not 10 million movies. It's a made-up number. That's not true.
There's over 8 million logged on IMDb alone.
Okay, where are the other 2 million?
history. Disney's vault.
You're just rounding up just for fun.
Yeah.
Doesn't-
Round
right.
up to the nearest 10 million.
I don't think it works.
You know,
Okay, so there's 10 million people in Saskatoon.
10 million of how many people there are in Saskatchewan, it's 0.
Yeah, well, you're rounding down now, sir. All right,
Yeah,
this is the sort of things we get.
numbers work.
That's not how numbers work.
If it's 5 or more, you round up. If it's 4 or less, you round down.
Sir, I didn't want to use this card, but I went to UCF. I don't know if you know that. So I know my math. University of Central Florida? The Knights? Yes?
Oh yeah.
Did I impress you?
You did. As soon as you dropped the Knights on me, I was impressed. But 3.
I didn't want to have to go there. I had the trump card on you, but I feel like I had to. I had to resort to it. I didn't want to stoop. But
we're 3 likes away from Spidey Bomb number 2. So people are going to hit that right now, and I know we are going to get there. And so Spidey Bomb number 2 today, it is Mr. Matt McLean for the Cincinnati Reds. It is 450. You can find him for over on Fanduel. And so that is Spidey Bomb number 2. We got lots more in the bank, and there actually are some really strong odds today. Other ones that I really like, you can get Juan Soto for plus 500 today. You can get Nate Lowe for plus 700 today. Some really strong home run odds out there.
Stevie, in chat, you're saying you're listening to Nickelback currently? Is that you're multitasking?
No, it was a joke.
Oh,
you missed all the joke. You're a Nickelback fan, right? You like Nickelback?
No, that's more insulting than my movie take you guys put on me.
I mean, Creed. What about Creed? You like Creed? You're a Creed guy.
I just love the. I wish we could play it. Creed did a song for the Marlins, and that is so bad. Scott Stapp, like it's called Marlins Will Soar. If you want to laugh, play Marlins Will Soar, Scott Stapp, and they would play it at the Marlin games at like 2005 when the team was completely miserable. Well, that's most years, right? But it's horrendous. It's on the YouTube. But Google Scott Stapp, Marlins Will Soar. I guess we can't play it. I wish we could.
I have a really cool Scott Stapp story, but I can't tell it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Was he hanging out in the NASCAR? Getting the behind the scenes.
No, this was pre NASCAR days for me.
Oh well, could I slide in your DMs? Will you tell me off air?
I mean, sure.
All right, fair enough. Okay, TJ, you actually Nickelback. That you're the Nickelback fan. You are responsible for everybody that comes out of Canada. They're Canadian. That's on you. And Justin Bieber, that's your fault. Do you want to claim Nickelback?
I don't really want to claim. I mean, they're fine. They have 3 songs, and all of them sound like those same 3 songs.
Yeah.
But I'm not a Nickelback fan, no. But their hometown's like 3 hours from where I live.
Oh, okay. Do you know everybody in their hometown as well? Do you know all the residents, all 100,000 people that live in
all 7 people that live in
or whatever,
Alberta? Yeah, I could probably name them.
They're
just the members of Nickelback.
And what's her name? Is she still hanging around the skater boy Avril? Is that not a thing? Are they no longer a thing?
Avril Lavigne, she's still doing some stuff, I'm sure.
No, she was married to Chad Kroeger, the lead singer of Nickelback. But I think they might have.
I don't think so anymore.
Yeah, if those 2 kids can't make it, like what are the chances of how are we supposed to do it? If that's unfortunate. Yeah, so they're asking about, do you like Waka? Yeah, ask your question in chat. By all means, we're here the next 20 minutes or so until we get to crunch time. Baseball-related questions, whatever's in your mind. Canadian questions, Nickelback questions. If you want to pry and get more stuff out of Stevie as far as Scott Stapp, see if you can get something out of him, fire away. Do give us the details. Let us know if you're playing on FanDuel or DraftKings, or if it's a cash game, or if it's tournaments, large field, single entry. We want to answer as many questions as possible until we hand it off to the Crunch Time team. Cam the Man was asking about TJ specifically, your take as far as Michael Wacha.
Yeah, I don't mind Waka today on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I'm not going to touch him, but on DraftKings, I don't mind him. He might end up being like my 4th favorite guy just because he comes with some decent salary savings. We're probably going to get a very left-handed lineup from San Fran today, and he's better against lefties. So I do like Waka. He's not one of my favorite guys, but he does round out in my top 5 on DraftKings, and then on FanDuel, I wouldn't touch him.
All right, so Bert's got a question here in chat asking where the extreme hitters umpires are tonight. If you fire up the lineup HQ, we'll see. You can just sort of rank it by the ranking for the umpires, and we have now. We should always note this. I always note this on Monday whenever a new series starts. It's not official. This is most likely what we're going to have as far as the umpires, but sometimes they will change them before a series starts. Once a series starts, you know how they rotate. So you know going forward exactly who's going to be the umpires. But as of right now, what we're seeing is an extreme hitters umpire for Pablo Lopez, for James Paxton, for Andrew Heaney, and for Tanner Banks. Is Tanner Banks starting for Chicago? I thought somebody else. That's a full-fledged bullpen game, right? I thought it was going to be – what's the dude's name? I guess the name just sort of disappeared. Jesse Schlattens? Is that not – he's probably pitching too, I suppose. But, yeah, it's a full-fledged bullpen game out of Chicago. Generally speaking, Stevie, I don't like picking on bullpen games, right? They tend to seem, be tougher. How are you – I'm hearing myself talk back to myself. What's going on here? Who's doing that? Is that TJ or is that Stevie?
You sound good on mine.
Oh, this is tripping me out. All right, it's no longer happening. Nope, it's still happening. I'm getting a little. I'm gonna throw it to Stevie, and I'm gonna try to figure out my.
Apparently it's me. I'll mute myself, then I'll go grab my headphones.
Sweet.
Well, there you go. I didn't hear anything, but yeah, I mean, typically I stay away from bullpen games. White Sox bottom 5 bullpen this year, so I think that's where it's a little bit different because the bullpen's just not good. The long reliever pitched like 2 days ago, so I really don't think he's going to go too deep in this game either. I mean, I think the starter and opener and long reliever maybe combined for 5 of the first 5 innings potentially.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Texas is a good team. They're one of the best teams in baseball against right-handed pitching this season. Second highest WRC plus. Their power numbers have been fantastic. So I typically don't want to mess with bullpen games, but I think this is a spot you can definitely do it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Typically, I don't want to mess with it, but there's not a ton of options necessarily. There's only one team on the slate. There's a team total above 5. That's Cincinnati, who's closing in on 6 because they're facing Colorado. Austin Gomber, one of the worst pitchers, taking the bump tonight. And also that bullpen got completely blasted this weekend against Atlanta, so they've been overworked as well. Trying to find the second highest team total on the board. Like we said, there's a lot of pitchers we like to various degrees. So just not a lot of stacks. Like, oh, yeah, you got to stack this team. Texas officially is right at 5. Don't mind that ballpark either in Chicago, locked in for 9 innings, no matter how things are going. So I think Texas is one of the second best options, like San Diego as well against Ryan Walker or whatever's coming out of that bullpen. Again, don't really like bullpen games, but this is just like beggars and choosers, and our options just are fairly limited. TJ, you're back with us. You're good to go?
Yeah, back, good to go. Put the headphones in. Not sure why the echo thing started. I've been going without headphones recently, and it's been no problem, but that's no problem. We got him here. We're ready to roll.
I don't know if Chop is trying to slander Bobby Gomes, but he's saying he's a big Fallout Boy fan. Is that an insult? I'm not sure. Maybe that's just like a fact. He's a big fan of the old Dance Dance. Dance Dance, Sugar We're Going Down, right?
Sugar We're Going Down. That's a great tune. That's a great karaoke song. I can rock that one on the karaoke.
Is that one of your go-tos? That's in the Family Feud board. One of your go-to karaoke
yeah,
songs?
It's on the list. It's on the notes app on the phone.
Do you have like one you would duet with your wife? Is that something you do? You ever bust that one out?
Yeah, she's actually an incredible singer.
Okay, well there you go. What is Stevie's? I'm going to say this. Don't answer the question, Stevie. I say Stevie has never karaoke'd. Do you say yes or no? I'm going to say he's never karaoke'd. Never. It's just not for him. Stevie doesn't have time for that.
I will counter that Stevie has never karaoke'd while sober.
No. Hold on. You say either he has or he hasn't. And
he has, but there's always been a couple beers involved.
No. I don't want any qualifiers. I'm willing to put.
Then yes, he has.
Oh, well, I'm gonna. Okay, wait, hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna say he hasn't. You're gonna say he has, and based on his answer, we will have our movie bet. Yes.
Deal.
Stevie,
TJ, please give him a movie. There's videos of me karaokeing with Kevin Roth and CJ. I mean,
what?
and you were there.
Wait, he had inside information?
You were no. CJ, the Siege. You were there. I mean,
I was there. Maybe
you
I
were
tried to
at
block
the
it out.
party. I mean, you were
can't
hanging out
unsee
with
it,
all
but
of
I
us.
guess I could unsee it.
Yeah.
What did you sing?
Dean,
I
you
don't
gotta watch
remember.
Shrek,
Dude,
man.
it was so long. I mean, there's
Arms
videos.
Wide Open by Scott Stapp and Creed.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I was pretty hammered.
Oh, what a terrible job!
I nailed it.
Oh, I thought I had you cornered, and then it was that call the ambulance gift, but not for me.
It was one of the RG parties that we did with the video game bar in it. Where was that? I can't remember.
Oh, that's a bummer. So now, am I now being forced to watch Shrek?
Yes, it's Shrek time.
Oh, unbelievable.
Noto was there. Yeah, I mean, we had a blast. You were there, Dean.
I tried to block it out. I didn't want you and Siege and Roth.
I mean, that's how long ago it was. It was a long time ago. But we'll have to ask Roth when he comes on if he remembers that. I have a really funny video of him doing one of the karaoke songs. I'm looking through my phone now. You guys can do the rest of the show.
Oh my gosh!
I would bet money that they were probably singing "Take Me Home, Country Road."
Whoa. That's the obvious.
Don't lose your bet. You just won. Definitely
I will double down that's not the song.
Nope, you're watching Shrek.
You're going to give me the feel that's like everything else, and you're going to have that one song.
No.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate. But, I'll take the L. I did see Roth karaoke. The video, I don't think he would allow me to release it, but he was spectacular. I think it was I'll Make Love to You, I'm going to say, the song he sang.
Same night, Dean. No, I mean, I think no, that was one of those songs he sang.
That's just his go-to. That's probably his number one. And he was very good. So it wasn't his first rodeo or however you want to say it. Yeah. Questions in chat. They just want to talk about music now, it appears. Did I ever ride the bull at the Super Bowl party in Nashville? I did not, but some people did. Any of you guys ride the bull there? And I guess TJ's never been, but Stevie, you ride the bull in Nashville? They have those.
I have a really funny video of Dan Bach riding the bull in Vegas, one of the early RG parties. But no, I don't ride the bull.
Let's see. I'm looking for questions in chat, and it's just people talking about music and dance and just separate karaoke takes, I suppose. What is your go-to karaoke song, chat? I'm curious if everybody has a go-to. Stevie, you don't really have a go-to. You're just whatever you're feeling like that day?
Whatever I'm feeling. Man, I have some really funny videos from early RG parties.
Are you watching them right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 7-game slate. Everyone knows my thoughts. I like Paxton and Scherzer. I like Kelly to be different. I'm a big fan of Waka tonight. I'm stacking the Reds and Rockies. I like the Padres. I like the White Sox. I like the Rangers. I mean, I said at the beginning of the show, I think it's a really straightfore slate. So yeah, I'm watching.
Well, it's an hour and 15 minutes. We can't just like sit here with our arms crossed.
Keep talking. I'm gonna find this video.
By the way, TJ Kirkwood is talking about you possibly being a fan of Snow Informer. And by the way, if you could do that in karaoke, that is really impressive. That's probably the hardest song. Ziggy Boom Boom Down. You're aware of this song? It's kind of before your time. You probably heard it.
Yeah,
and I believe Informer is Canadian.
Yeah,
but you can't sing it though.
Kirkwood's talking.
If
about
I had
Chop
the words in front of me, I probably could.
Okay.
Kirkwood's talking about Chop. One of my best memories from Chop when we were in Vegas was it was an early Saturday morning. It was me, Chop, Noto, and Dan at a bar early watching college football, and he's like, "Go bet this right now." And I remember making a lot of money that day.
There you go.
I don't have any good Chop like stories.
TJ, Michael wants to know a Cincinnati stack. You like Senzel or Votto? Who do you prefer amongst those two?
Neither really, but Senzel.
Oh, I found the videos.
Stevie, what did this seems like something you would know. I didn't check. I meant to check. Votto and his rehab stuff. Did he have any power, or is the power just gone?
I did not look into it. I'll look into it right now for you, just because now I feel like I have to actually work. Thanks, dude.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I feel like that was something, and I feel like he had at least 5 games or so. The small sample size. I just want to know he has the ability. I know he's had some down years as far as power, but all right. What else is
he
going
played
on
22 games in AAA.
Okay,
this
yeah,
year.
big sample size considering.
So 97 at bats, hit 3 home runs, ISO around 160. Hard hit rate was kind of down a little bit and not hitting the ball. He's hitting the ball. He hit the ball on the ground a lot. OPS was down. So, I mean, nothing close to what healthy Votto 2021 Votto was.
TJ, Mr. Richard says, I'll be underweight on Cincinnati DK mass multi-entry, which I totally think that's probably a good idea if Cincinnati's going to be pretty popular. What will be the next best stack besides Cincinnati and all things considered, TJ? If you're running on MME stuff, what's the next best one, the pivot away from Cincy, maybe to be well over the field on? What stack is it for you?
For me, it's Pittsburgh. They're my second highest owned stack today, and I do like them quite a bit.
Who do you like on Pittsburgh? We like, so far this year, Joe versus lefties has been spectacular. His sample's not huge, but he smashed them pretty good. We talked about Henry Davis, who's got a ton of power in the minor leagues. Reynolds, McCutchen, all fine, right? I assume that's what
I wish Santana wasn't batting fourth, but like I do like the entire lineup.
Yeah.
That's the team I'm overweight on as well. Pittsburgh.
Interesting. Both you guys like Pittsburgh. Yeah, I think they're
currently my second highest owned stack.
I mean, McCutchen's been great. I talked about this. Hold on. Let me pull up Expert Survey. I talked about this on Expert Survey today. So Smiley started the season. His strikeout rate was like 21%. It's down 19% to 19%. His ISO's down or up from 160 to 180. All of these numbers go way up against righties as well. His hard hit rate has went from 38.5% to 43.5%. So talked about this in depth on Expert Survey today when I was talking about the Pirates, but Smiley has really kind of fallen off here. He was throwing like a bunch of different pitches and like getting a lot of movement, and like teams have just kind of caught up to it, and he's been hit hard here recently. And honestly, he just faced this team 5 days ago and they smashed him pretty good. So hate the ballpark for Pittsburgh, but it's a 7-game slate and they're low owned.
Did you finish your thought, TJ, as far as Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Where are we at as far as Spidey Bombs? So hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications, do all those things. About 5 minutes or so.
Oh, I found the videos.
Which video?
The one of Roth doing karaoke with us.
Okay. Well, this is the one from like 5 or 6 years ago you're talking about, not the one most recently.
This is a lot longer ago. Hold on.
Okay. Well, I don't know if we can unleash that.
I know. I'm trying to turn. It was 2017. 2017.
Did want to mention Spike Week, spikeweek.com. If you're playing best ball, 40% off your monthly or seasonal subscription. Use the promo code, the coupon RG23 at the checkout page, spikeweek.com. I was on yesterday with Sirius, on Sirius with TJ for a segment or two, talking a little bit of best ball. I know TJ's been digging in. Are you currently in the middle of a draft right now, TJ, as far as a best ball, or no? We have nothing going. We multitask.
Nope. Not right now at the moment. I did do a pretty crazy team yesterday after our show was done. I basically, like, it's going to be very unique. I basically just decided to fully punt week 13. And I did a Vikings and Baltimore stack together in this best ball lineup, just basically thinking nobody else is going to have this team. And as long as I can survive that week, I'm going to be okay. And so it's pretty beautiful. I got Lamar with Bateman, Beckham, and Andrews, and then I got Kirk Cousins with Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson, as well as Osborne. It's a pretty nice squad.
Again, that promo code on Spike Week, spikeweek.com, RG23, 40% off monthly or seasonal subscriptions. Just got a Giants lineup. It's Wade, Peterson, Estrada, Conforto, Skrimsky, Matos, Crawford, Bailey, and VR. So we're just waiting for San Diego. Got everything else. Saw some more questions loading up as well in chats. TJ, I'll ask you.
I don't know the song. Kevin Roth is rapping, and I can't. I was trying to listen to it, and I couldn't hear it. So I don't know what song it is.
We'll have to ask him. You know what? If you can slide into his DMs and he can listen to it before the show, maybe he would know. He'd be able to tell us. And just
I'm not sending him this embarrassing video out of nowhere.
You're sending it to him. Wait, you're embarrassed or he's embarrassed? Why would you be embarrassed?
I'm not embarrassed. I care less. No, I'm saying it's just funny. That's all. I think it'd be funnier just to ask him if he remembers. That was you were at the boat RG trip, weren't you? The boating trip?
Oh, I wasn't at the boat one. No.
Then you weren't there that night.
I wasn't there. I missed that one.
There you go. That's why you don't remember. That's why
Pontoon? Is
TJ
that what it
gets to
was?
pick. Yeah, TJ gets to
Yeah.
pick a movie for you because you weren't there. Good job, Dean.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I wasn't aware of that situation.
Gene wasn't there.
Yeah,
Take
he wasn't
me to
invited.
The fair.
What song are you doing? I can't quite piece that together. Is that an original?
Daddy wasn't there from Gold member, Austin Powers Gold member.
That's what it is. Yeah. There you go. It did
Dean's
sound
like-
Also, Mike Myers, just like Shrek.
Dean's
Yeah.
like, we're going outside for this party. I'm not going.
Yeah. Oh, the sun? That's like my mortal enemy.
Yeah.
That's like the Green Goblin to me, basically. TJ, Rodolfo Castro or Luis Matos. Pick one of those nonsense players. I think it's Castro amongst those two. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's Castro. I like Castro.
Is there somebody, TJ, you're making a bunch of lineups today? Is there somebody you're kind of bummed for whatever reason you can't seem to get as much as you want? You run to the field or you don't want to be, you're not as over as you want. What's the player or what's the stack that, if for whatever reason, it's not coming together for you, that you're most nervous about not having enough of?
Honestly, no, there isn't anybody. I'm feeling really good about my build. Like, usually I'm going pretty close up to lineup lock and kind of trying to reevaluate, mix and match different things here. And I've already got my lineups in on DraftKings. And unless we get some scratches or the Padres lineup isn't what we think it's going to be, I honestly don't think I'm going to be changing anything. The only two players that were in my pool that didn't make any of the builds are Mark Mathias and Jaron Duran.
I think you'll be fine. Like that's Duran is leading off against Lopez, but decent shot of 5 ABs. He also there's a chance he gets the hook if a lefty comes in. Cloud wants to know is that Mitch Garver or Heim, Texas catcher? Stevie, you have a preference amongst those two, Garver or Heim?
I mean they're both expensive, right?
I think they have a similar price point.
Listen, there is a 2K catcher today. I haven't looked at any other catchers outside of Alfaro and Davis.
Yeah.
I would probably go Heim. He's been really good this year. I would probably go Heim, but Garver throughout his career has been really good against left-handed pitching, but Heim is good against both sides. We don't expect Banks to go deep in the game anyway. So I'd go Heim, but again, Davis is 2K. Alfaro's like 3,300. You could go. There's so many cheap catchers. Vasquez against Paxton. If you're not all in on Paxton, is cheap. And I think did Vasquez ever catch Paxton? I don't think so, right?
I am not sure.
He was gone. I'm pretty sure he was gone before. Yeah, pretty sure he was gone before.
Brian's asking about Votto on FanDuel for tournaments. I don't know what to expect out of him, but he is 2K on FanDuel. Like if he's 2K and he makes stuff work and he plays for Cincinnati, I'm happy to play him. I'm okay playing Votto. I don't really know what to expect first game of the year. We talked about his rehab.
I got 10% Votto in my 20 entry max, so 2 lineups with Votto.
But that's DK, right? Or FanDuel? DK. Yeah, and DK
he's way more. Yeah, he's way more expensive. So I'm saying in a single entry, I probably don't go Votto on FanDuel. But if you're playing any mass multi stuff, I think that if you want to go Votto on FanDuel at 2K, it's too cheap. The bullpen's really bad for Colorado, so if Gomber doesn't pitch well, that's what you're kind of hoping for. You're hoping to get to the bullpen early.
TJ, Brian wants to know a one-off Tatis or Seager GPPs for FanDuel.
That is tough, but I think I would go Tatis.
Steven also wants to know about teammate there of Seager, Nate Lowe. What are your thoughts as far as Nate Lowe? I assume he's in your pool. Yes, TJ?
Yeah, I like Nate Lowe today. He was one of the people I actually mentioned whose home run odds I really like today. You can find him for plus 700 over on Caesars, and I like that.
We got Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. We have Tastefultides Tim, the hater of fun, and we have Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, who I presume had some fun this weekend. You went to see, you saw the Braves. You saw a lot of home runs, a lot of runs. Did you stack the Braves, Dave? Were you sharp enough to say, hey, this Atlanta team, this offense is pretty good. Maybe we should play them at DFS.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. My son lives near the stadium this summer. He went to all 3 games this weekend, and he kind of follows baseball, but it's not his main thing. He looked at me a couple of innings in. He was like, I thought teams hit 1 or 2 homers a game. Is this normal? I think he saw 12 homers in the 3 games. It was nuts. And they weren't even hitting the ball that hard. Rosario was just kind of tip-tapping it, and it just flew into the seats. It was good.
Rosario knew that he was a Spidey bomb that game, and he decided to double down.
It didn't even look like he was even trying. It rarely does with him. He's kind of a funny dude. He just looks like he's hoping to maybe squeeze a single in between the fielders, and it just keeps on going.
Is that like your son being rebellious? Did you not teach him baseball? He didn't embrace it. He wasn't a fan. Didn't take to it for whatever reason, or just let him find his way.
He likes it. It's just not like he doesn't know he doesn't know the stats inside and out, and doesn't.
Yeah.
He embraced football and the Browns as he was supposed to. He did what he was supposed to do.
That was the most important. You wanted the misery to be handed down to be a Browns fan.
Yeah. For those who don't understand, like I'm not really actually that big of a baseball fan. Like it's not. I'm a football fan first and foremost, and then baseball is a thing that I do for a living.
Is baseball ahead of hockey? I know you like hockey.
No, it's football, hockey, baseball.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. All right. There you go. Hey, Roth, this came up organically on our show. We were talking about karaoke, and Stevie has some karaoke videos of you. He was so bored by our conversation, he started watching you karaokeing like 7 years ago with CJ and Stevie. Do you remember what you were singing? Because Stevie was trying to figure it out.
I'm glad it was the one 7 years ago and not the one from this year where I was humping the stage. So that's a plus.
I'll Make Love to You? Is that what it was?
Yeah. This year it was I'll Make Love to You, but 7 years ago, I believe it was Ludacris. What's Your Fantasy?
See, I told you he was rapping. I just couldn't hear. I couldn't hear it. There was a bet like between Dean and TJ if I've ever karaokeed, and I was like, Dean, you weren't at the RG party where we all karaokeed, and I went and found the video to see, but I couldn't hear. So I was trying to listen to them in one ear and listen to the video, and I couldn't understand what you were actually rapping.
So what happened, I didn't choose that song. Some randos chose that song, and then they just did it such a disservice that I kicked them off the stage and I took the mic. And I was like, yeah, it was so bad. I was like, I've got this. If you don't know the words, sit down. And I had to take it from there.
Yeah, we were playing like NFL Blitz. Man, that bar was awesome. I can't remember what it was, but it was awesome.
It was, yeah. Ooh, good times.
Yeah.
Roth, you feel better about the weather today in Cincinnati? As the show has progressed, you've knocked down the weather all the way to straight yellow in Cincy. We're feeling okay now?
So long as they start on time. Like the only thing that would make me nervous is if they pull one of those, like, we're going to late start. They should not late start. That would be bad. So long as everything looks like they want to play and they want to go, everything should be fine. Maybe a delay, but they should be able to be okay.
TJ, Stevie, anything else with the boys, or shall we step aside and make way for the Fanduel sponsored Crunch Time?
Let's step aside.
I mean, I'm kind of sad that Cheese didn't list like CS:GO as like one of his top sports, because
I still don't know what they're doing in that game.
He would have it won, but it's not a sport.
It's up there now, but yeah, I really don't know what those people are doing. I mean, shooting people. When you shoot the other person, it's good, and I cheer, but I still don't get it enough.
Before I leave in my famous fashion of leaving fast, happy late Father's Day, Roth and Dave. I hope you guys had a great day, and Tim,
you as well. You'll
get on it, I'm sure. But thanks for watching, everyone. See you later.
Happy Father's Day to you, Stevie.
Never fade Faker. Dave can tell you. Is Faker still good, Dave, or is he still playing?
He's still good. I mean, he's fadeable, but he's still very good at getting whatever he's supposed to do with the Dragons. He gets it done.
This is awkward. It's just me. Roth, take it away.
I have no idea what the hell you guys are talking about with Dragons and everything else. But hey, welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. This is Crunch Time. This show is sponsored by FanDuel, and it is the show where we bring on two of the sharpest minds in the biz, helping to walk you up to lock and through lock. We're going to give you some plays. We're going to talk pitchers. We're going to talk stacks. We're going to take your questions. We're going to give you some home run calls as well. So make sure you're hitting that thumbs up because it's free. It's free content by two of the sharpest minds in the business. And all we ask is a little thumbs up, a little subscribe. That way you hang out with us every single day. We got one day pot. Cheeseisgood. What up, Cheese?
Not too much. I've got the weird summer cold going on, so I'm going to try to mute when I cough. But if I miss one, I apologize for coughing in your earphones.
You're good. Did you got the COVID? I feel like you were coughing.
I don't think I have the COVID. Although, I mean, don't we all have it? So we'll see. I have this something.
No, it got me last week. I lost like 12 pounds. I was so tired. I just laid in bed for like 2-3 days. Couldn't eat. It sucked. It wasn't fun.
It's a good weight loss program without having to exercise, which is really
I wasn't. Wasn't trying to lose weight, but yeah, I lost 12 pounds with the COVID. But I'm back. I'm bouncing back. We got TastefulTides. What up,
Is
man?
my mic working? Can you hear me?
It
Okay.
is. It
What?
is.
What?
Okay. All right. I'm just making
Yeah.
sure. I've been having some weird tech issues, so I'm
Okay.
just making sure everything's good. So
Well, you hadn't said anything, so like, why did you think it wasn't
I'm
working?
pretty sure my mic wasn't working, and I'm just.
What if
making
he's
sure
been
now that
talking
it's
the
working.
whole time though?
Yeah, I
And
tried
that's
to,
the
and then
answer.
nobody responded, so I was like, this isn't good.
No, you're good. You're good. Doug
right.
says, is anyone else getting a lot of static? Let us know if you're hearing static. If so, it's Tim's fault.
I'm not hearing anything bad.
It's clear
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, it sounds good on my end. Maryi Don Yeezy says you're good. Hey, it's good to have you. Did you have any fun this weekend?
I did kind of, because it was Father's Day weekend, so I mean I did a bunch of stuff with the family. So that was good. Yeah.
By the way, everybody says your mic is clear and everybody's clear, and we're good. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the weekend, but we're going to get you back to the grindstone here, Tides. We got to talk about this slate. Would you mind giving a general overview? Usually I let Cheese do that, but how about I throw you under the bus here for that?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with some pitching.
Well, don't get crazy. Don't get carried away. I just want like an overview of like, how would you describe this slate? And then we'll start digging into things.
All right. So I guess, it's kind of like a jumbled mess with pitching and I think with hitting. I mean, maybe not a mess, but I mean, there's good options on both sides. I don't think you're going to see, I think you're going to see a lot of spread out ownership when it comes to pitching. I'm kind of excited for this slate, given how small it is. Usually small slates I find are kind of like boring and they get kind of condensed with ownership. I don't think we're necessarily going to see that tonight, just because there's a lot of pitchers that are kind of similar in skill set and in salary. So it's like, I think that's great for GPPs. Yeah. Seeing as I'm a cash game player and single entry player, it's harder, but I like that, because it's not like, oh, I just click the auto guy and everyone's going to have them. It's not really going to be like that. And I would say for stacks, it's quite similar. You're going to see probably Cincinnati being the highest owned offense, but I don't think it's going to be by a crazy amount. And then we have a couple of really good options against, bullpen games. So like the Rangers are in a really, really great spot. But there's other great teams too. And then we got like the Pirates for like cheap hitters. I think they're excellent. So I think Cincinnati's the chalk, but they're not going to be like the overwhelming chalk. So this is a really solid slate for GPPs.
Okay, very nice. Cheese, I will let you dive into the pitching here. We got some, I feel like I've already seen a lot of people saying, I like this team, and they're different. So I do feel like this is going to be a fun one. Cheese, why don't you talk to us about the arms? That's my curveball.
It looks great.
Yes.
So
how it's done.
essentially, the way I'm seeing it is, so it's a 7-game slate. So there's 14 of everything. There's 14 teams and 14 pitchers. Essentially, I see 7 good pitchers, which makes for 7 good offenses. There's a couple pitchers that you could put in they could maybe go in either bucket, but essentially it's kind of just a split in half slate. And then, like Tim said, because of that, on both sides, the ownership is spread out amongst those 7 pitchers and 7 stacks. So personally for me on the pitching side, well, it's all very close. And I do like that Corbin Burnes is pitching better recently. And I do like that Max Scherzer, he struggled last time, but he's generally been pitching better too. For me, James Paxton is my SP1. Again, it's all very close between Burnes, Scherzer, Paxton, Hunter Brown, Pablo Lopez, and maybe throw Michael Wacha in there. But I just like Paxton's current form and matchup better than these other guys. So that's my SP1. If I have all the money in the world, I'll slightly lean Burnes ahead of Scherzer, but kind of just barely. And Scherzer's too cheap. And even at those against Houston, he's still much better against righties. And Houston is Kyle Tucker and a bunch of righties. So Paxton Scherzer is kind of my go-to combo. And I guess that's not really popular. I mean, we're showing just extremely spread out ownership between the top really 7 or so guys. Throw like Merrill Kelly and even Andrew Heaney getting some ownership in there. So I want Paxton and Scherzer for the most part, and then I'm happy with all these other guys. The cheap stuff is bad.
A lot of questions about Gomber
as a pitcher. No, what? So Gomber is, if not the worst pitcher in the league, a bottom 5 pitcher in the league. He's cheap. If you want to play him, you are welcome to play him. I have 0. I would have less than 0 if that were one of my options. Personally, if I have to play a cheap nonsense nobody, I'm playing Osvaldo Bido at 5,600 against the Cubs. But all this cheap stuff is like them scoring a 0 is as likely as them scoring 10.
Okay. So not great. You do not have, you're really not down with the cheap stuff.
No. I have Beto in like 2 lineups.
Yeah.
And that is
I'm not an MME player, but I don't think I'd go below Heaney. And I don't even really want Heaney.
Yeah.
So like I think the cheap stuff is purely just really, really bad. Like I don't think there's any reason to goof around down there.
Okay. Well, Tim, tell me what your thoughts are both on FanDuel and DK.
Yeah, so my SB1 is Max Scherzer on both sites. That's really it's just because of price. 9,000 on FanDuel, 8,800 on DK. He's not the same guy that he once was, but I feel like the strikeouts are starting to creep back up. I still think he's too cheap, given his skill set. So for me, he is my SB1. That's where I'm going to start out. He's my guy on FanDuel tonight. He's my definitely going to be cash game guy on DraftKings. You can definitely pivot there to other guys like Paxton would probably be my second favorite on FanDuel, followed by Corbin Burns. On DraftKings, if you're looking for an SB2 for cash, this is kind of where I'm struggling. I want to say James Paxton, but for cash, I think it might be Corbin Burns. It's really close. It kind of depends on. It kind of just depends on what you want to do with the rest of your team. I think if you really want an SB2 for cash games, it's Corbin Burns, and Max Scherzer should be your cash game pairing on DraftKings. Pablo Lopez, I think, is an excellent play on both sites for GPPs, but I think he's just not. I think he's a little risky for cash games. And then I'm sure Cheese mentioned Merrill Kelly as like an excellent tournament option, but he has got control issues, so he's not in the cash game conversation for me.
Gotcha. Any love for Waka?
Yeah, I think Walk is fine. It's kind of a way I would describe it as kind of an unfortunate slate for him. Just because, I'd much rather play the guys that are a little higher than him. So I think, he's fine. He's good. Decent matchup. He's been excellent this season. Let's see. On DraftKings, we have him at 12%. That's actually pretty decent. That's not horrible. So maybe I'd match the field, in a GPP setting. I don't know what Cheese would say. He's the MME guy, but 12% is okay. That's an okay ownership. I'm fine with that.
Okay, and then the other name that I'm seeing is some Hunter Brown. Tim, talk to me about Hunter Brown, and if not, Cheese.
I guess I would be kind of more out on him, especially at 20% ownership. That concerns me. Like if Pablo Lopez is going to be 20%, Merrill Kelly is going to be 20%, I'd much rather play Lopez and Merrill Kelly over Hunter Brown. It's not a very good K matchup. He can have control issues also, and he's more expensive. So you're not getting any kind of like salary discount. You're not getting any kind of ownership discount. So he falls very far to the bottom of these kind of top 6 or 7 guys that we've talked about.
Gotcha. Okay, very nice. 2 things that I didn't mention that I should have. One of those is to make sure you're signing up for the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're in a legal sports betting state, take advantage of their awesome bonus offer. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets. Terms and conditions do apply, but make sure you're checking that out. And two, we actually do have a couple of weather concerns. I kind of brought up one of them off the top with Dean. In both Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, I can't rule out a delay so long as they start on time in Cincinnati. I do think that game is going to play fine. The heavy stuff should hold just south. It'll be close. I think they'll have to play through some light rain, but I'm optimistic there so long as they play on time. If we hear of a late start, I'm absolutely legitimately terrified of what would happen. So hopefully they do not announce a late start. Otherwise, that is big trouble.
You're terrified of a late start in Cincinnati for the entire game. Like you're worried that they could PPD. Okay, that's pretty important. Because,
if they and to be clear, I don't think they'll late start. There's no reason to. But if they do, they're late starting for rain that's going to arrive 2 hours from now. And that is like the quintessential what happens before a postponement. You late start for rain that's going to arrive in 2 hours, then the rain arrives, and then they postpone. Like that's every time you late start and wait for rain, that's how it goes down. So hopefully there is no late start, and then I think that game's going to be okay. And then just a chance for a delay in Pittsburgh. What is it? Smiley? Is he the best pitcher in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, like those two games, like pitchers are barely relevant at all. And like that's where I said I'll throw a cheap Vito in there, and someone is going to throw a cheap Gomber or Williamson. But like if those guys get delayed after 4 innings, you're probably better off, honestly. Anyway,
but I would say that the field is very concerned about hitters in that Colorado Cincinnati game.
Oh yeah,
sure. Cincinnati's going to be that's going to be the most popular offensive game on the entire slate. So
I don't fade it. Stick with it. Everything looks good. I think it's going to be fine. Is the bottom line there? I think it's going to be fine for hitters. Quick question before we get into the bats. Tides, what is the optimal time to start drinking wine on Wednesday?
I'm definitely the wrong person to ask that question.
I thought because you had a wine and cheese store, you might be the right
person.
That was
Wednesdays, though. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
We actually closed 9 years ago. So
right on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
Okay, that's fair. All right. Let's talk about the bats. Let's talk about the stacks and Tides. You are the right person to ask that. So, I mean, you mentioned Cincinnati's kind of where, or at least in that game, is where a lot of people are looking.
Definitely, that game is going to be the most popular. Cincinnati is going to be the most popular stack on the entire slate. Austin Gomber is absolutely horrible. Cheese kind of mentioned it at the top of the show, how bad he is. He gives up a ton of home runs. He's definitely a guy that we can attack. I'd say if you don't want to play a chalky Cincinnati, which I don't blame you, because Cincinnati is not exactly, some amazing offensive team. I'd say Texas is going to be my next favorite. They are pretty expensive, but I think getting bits and pieces of that team going up against a bullpen game of the White Sox. White Sox have a really bad bullpen, and it's going to be a bullpen game. So it makes a lot of sense to me to attack this Rangers squad. I think like the Padres are really, really interesting tonight. I don't think they're going to get too much ownership. They're in a spectacular spot. I don't know like what the field's going to do with the Rockies. I think they're decent and they're pretty affordably priced on both sites. They're pretty cheap. And then I like the Cubs quite a bit. Those are probably my top 5.
Very good. Cheese, you want to talk about some of your favorite stacks for me?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, there's kind of 7 good pitchers, which then make 7 stacks. I think the Reds, the Rangers, and a few on DK, the cheap White Sox bats will be the chalk. But I really think it's spread out enough that it's kind of like 4 or 5 teams are chalky-ish. I just don't think anything's really chalk outside of a couple individual bats, which are honestly mostly White Sox on DK. I like the Pirates a good bit as well. I would put the Reds and Rangers as my first two, and the Padres third, and then I want the Pirates and the Rockies. In MME, I'm absolutely stacking some of these good teams against good pitchers. Like I've got a Mets stack and an Astros stack, and Brewers, Diamondbacks, Red Sox. Like these are good pitchers, but these aren't like unbeatable pitchers. I mean, one of these aces is going to have a bad game. So if you're doing 20 plus lineups, you should definitely play against some of the aces.
Okay, very good. Guys, let's go around the horn. Let's talk position by position. Then we'll get to some QQs. Cheese, I'm going to let you lead things off a little catcher talk.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
So
Catcher's good. Don't complain. Catcher's always
it's
good.
It's really not that bad. It's just that then you're setting me up for second base. That's really what this is about.
Oh, that's
I
hadn't gotten that far in the process. Yeah.
Yeah. So the two Colorado catchers are actually probably kind of the chalk. Jorge Alfaro, 3,300, and he's minimum salary on FanDuel even. So I do like Colorado catchers. We got two Texas catchers as well. I would play Heim ahead of Garver, but I like them both. And then Henry Davis, this rookie for Pittsburgh, who's a decent guy, a decent enough guy.
He's a decent guy.
He looks like a decent hitter, a good quality human being. Is minimum salary on DK, so he's definitely the punt if you need a punt. And that is your catcher position.
Okay, Tides. Anything else you want to add there, catcher? You like this decent fella?
Oh yeah, Henry Davis is definitely your cash game catcher. 100% on DraftKings. There's no question about that. I think there are some interesting pivots.
Hey Tim, would you say you're dumb and terrible at DFS and don't understand anything if you don't play many cash games? That's
yes.
how.
Yes, actually, I would say that. Normally, I don't like to say that, even in cash games, but in this case, I would say that. You would be very dumb.
You're all a bunch of jabronis if you don't.
Yes, you are
That's excellent.
stupid. You are so stupid. If you don't play him, please send me a head-to-head. Yes, that's yes, yeah. So
shout out Derek Carty. Shout out. We'll
Right,
see you tomorrow, probably. Carty. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, she's pretty much covered it. And I also like, the Colorado guys are amazing, but I'd also say like Garver and Heim for Texas would be, and they're very, very similarly priced, those Colorado catchers. I absolutely love. And then, like Jan Gomes, I think is great.
Okay. How about first base, Tim?
She's going to mention these cheap Chicago White Sox bats. Projection systems love them. I think that they're okay for cash games. One quick note on FanDuel, Joey Votto is back in our lives, and he is min priced. He's at flat 2K, so I think that he's a great play. Where am I? Connor Joe, 2,700. We kind of mentioned the power. It says as a cheapish stack. Rowdy Tellez, I think is good. There's some really good cheap first baseman on FanDuel. And then Spencer Steer, I like quite a bit on DraftKings at 4,500. And then Cody Bellinger, I think, is going to be like a fairly sneaky play. Playing him at first base for 4,900, I like him quite a bit for tournaments.
Okay, great. Cheese, I want your thoughts at first. And also, if anybody's watching like MLB package and wants to turn on the Cincinnati game and make sure there's not a tarp on the field, that would be cool. Let me know. That'd be helpful. You want to be my boots on the ground or eyes on the ground. Cheese, what are your thoughts at first?
Yeah, it's not super deep, and like the best hitters are facing the tougher pitchers. So like, it's interesting to play like Pete Alonso, Christian Walker, just to be different. I do actually like Christian Walker a fair bit.
I feel like you always like that. Like he's just good. I assume
he's just really good. Yeah. And because he's facing Burns tonight, he'll go overlooked. But Burns really is not pitching particularly well at all against righties this year. He's just kind of a dude. Andrew Vaughn will be the cheap DK cash, and then like Tim mentioned, Votto on FanDuel. I have no idea, how Votto is going to do. I'm thrilled that he's back. I mean, last time we saw him for a full season, the guy hit 36 homers. Like, it's quite possible that he's just going to be good until the end of time. I don't know. I like Spencer Steer a lot on DK. And then Connor Joe is just, I hate how much I love Connor Joe. I don't know why I love him so much. I think he's probably my highest owned player, which is a weird thing to say out loud, but that is what it is.
Yikes. Okay. How about second base, Cheese?
So second base up top, I think, is actually better than first base. I know what is going on. If you have all the money in the world, Marcus Semien is the play. And then we have two Reds guys on each site with India and McLean on DK and India and Nick Senzel on FanDuel. We also have Ryan McMahon on FanDuel, who I like. I think people will, as always, see lefty and not play McMahon, but he's actually my favorite Rockies play anyway. You could use like a cheap Coco Montez, although I much prefer Rodolfo Castro if you have a little bit more money as a cheap guy. And then also on FanDuel, I think Cronenworth is a very interesting play.
All right, Tim, your thoughts a second.
Yeah, I completely agree with Cheese that I would recommend spending more at second base than I would at first, which has been an extremely rare thing to say this season. Really like everything that he said. I think on FanDuel, Jake Cronenworth at 2,800 would be another person that I would mention. Nico Horner is as like a contrarian spend up option over the more popular players like Semien and India. Semien and India are the best too, but I think Horner would make for a strong tournament pivot.
Very good. Also, shout out to Cincy Reds gal, Hoosiers Hang Banners, and Nathan, all in the chat. They're all watching the pregame.
Hoosiers do hang banners. That's a great name.
They used to. I don't know
if that's Steve Alford. If you are Steve Alford, please let me know. My all-time favorite basketball player.
Yeah.
Who
if you're Bobby Knight,
half our listeners not even heard of. I bet that's him.
If you're Bobby Knight, let me know. Anyways, the tarp is off. They say that they are good to go. The concrete is wet outside. Well, yeah, it rained, but it's done raining. The game is going to be fine, basically, is what I think is going to happen. So I would not sweat it, and I would play everybody in Cincy. That brings us to third base. Cheese's turn. Tim's turn. Yep.
Yeah, so I think Ellie De La Cruz is your top third baseman today. He's 3,900 on FanDuel. He's 5,200 on DraftKings.
My boy's getting priced up.
He's getting really priced up.
Yep.
But I think this is an amazing spot, so I'm going to pull the trigger. Josh Jung for the Rangers, I would say, is another excellent play. Spencer Steer on FanDuel. I think you can play De La Cruz and Steer because De La Cruz is also shortstop eligible. So you could still play them. You can play them together as part of your stat. Kevin Newman, I mean, he's not great, but if you need the salary, I probably prefer you play him at first base. Actually, he is first base, third base on DraftKings at 3,200. I think if you need him, he's there. He's batting leadoff. He's cheap, part of a great stack. And then Ke'Bryan Hayes, I think, is in a really great spot, and he's pretty affordable on both sites.
Okay, great. Cheese, you on my boy EDLC. That's Ellie De La Cruz.
Oh, yeah. I mean, love him, of course. This is a good position, though, and I feel like we're going to get Devers and Machado at kind of bizarrely low ownership, especially Machado against the Giants bullpen game. And Devers is a guy, even if you like Lopez and don't like the Red Sox, I think you can still play him as a one-off. And then on DK, we've still got this Jake Berger thing. He's probably the chalk at the position because of the salary.
What is the thing? What is his price over there?
3,500. So he and Andrew Vaughn are just so super cheap on DK. Between him and Newman, and Ke'Bryan Hayes at 38, I just don't think anyone's going to spend the $5K for Machado or Devers.
Yeah,
I really like both of them.
Okay,
and you could play Ellie at shortstop.
Okay, well, take me to shortstop, Cheese.
Yeah, so Seager is priced way up, and of course I like Seager. And then on FanDuel you can add Tatis and at shortstop as well. but I don't feel like Seager is the most necessary spend up on the slate in a game where like he can hit lefties, but it's a very left-handed heavy bullpen. So my guess is he sees at least half his at bats against lefties, which doesn't take him out of play like at all, but makes him not a priority spend.
Yeah.
So I like De La Cruz and McLean at shortstop. And then on FanDuel, I'd rather play Tatis ahead of Seager if I'm spending all the way up. Don't mind like Dansby Swanson and Willie Adames just for some cheaper stuff. And that's that.
Okay, I'm seeing Matt McLean as quite high owned. Tim, is that your boy, at least on FanDuel?
Yeah, I mean you can play him on both sites. It really, I mean, it all depends on, you know, what you want to do with your red stacks. The other thing that I would say is like Dansby Swanson on FanDuel at 2,800, I think is pretty cheap. I think he is good for cash games or for GPPs. Yeah, I agree with Cheese. Like Seager is amazing, but I don't think he's completely necessary. It's kind of a weird position. Like you could also play Tatis on FanDuel at shortstop at 4,600, but I'm just you know, for cash, I think you got to concentrate on getting to these Cincinnati guys, especially now that we've got the okay with the weather.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, of course, you can always play Tatis, but I'm just personally higher on Cincinnati.
Okay, great. Take me to the outfield, Tim.
Yeah, so you're going to see quite a bit of ownership, I think, on like Reno Grichuk. He's pretty cheap on both sites, 3,900 on DraftKings, 2,900 on FanDuel. He's fine for cash games, but I don't know. Like I'm never really all about loading up on Colorado in tournaments. So
it's crazy, by the way, while you're on it, that Grichuk has only hit one home run this year. And like we think of him as a power bat. I still think he is, but like one home run. Like
I haven't looked at his like savant stuff. Like I don't know, has he had good like StatCast stuff? I don't.
I actually
really know.
haven't looked either. I'm going to look while you continue talking.
I mean, yeah. So like Luis Robert, I think on both sites is a really strong play. We talked about the White Sox as kind of, you know, good for both cash and tournaments. I think Andrew McCutchen. I don't remember the last time I've said his name, but I think he's a really good play on both sites. So it's just I don't know. I'm trying to think like where I can like Suzuki for the Cubs. I like on both sites quite a bit. He's 3K on FanDuel, 3,800 on DraftKings. I like the Cubs quite a bit tonight. I think Brian Reynolds is interesting. Ian Happ, Cody Bellinger, I think are all. Mike Tauchman is cheap on both sites, batting leadoff for the Cubs, 2,500 on DraftKings. I think he's definitely in the cash game conversation. So I think those are some good options there.
Okay. Cheese, talk me through the outfield. I feel like usually there's all these spend ups that we want. There's, you know, like Trout and Ohtani, but there's not.
Yeah, it's pretty much, you know, Tatis, Soto, Adolis Garcia. Those are kind of the spend ups.
Yeah.
You know, Buxton and Kyle Tucker are in that group, kind of in that Devers group of in play against good pitchers. But pretty much if you're spending up, it's the two Padres or Garcia. Lewis Robert is kind of a spend up. I think he'll be pretty popular and is a good play. I also like the Cubs that Tim mentioned in the outfield. Pirates, Brian Reynolds, one of my favorite plays. Again, Connor Joe, I don't know. If Connor Joe has a good night, I will be excited. And if he doesn't, I will be not surprised at all and sad. There's tons of cheap stuff that's like fine.
Mm-hmm.
I do worry about Stuart Fairchild being the most likely Reds bats can get pinch hit for. He's also the one red that no one will have, and he's cheap. So, you know, maybe he just gets a hit and it doesn't matter that he gets pinch hit for. You could kind of say the same thing for Clint Frazier as just a cheap on DK 2100. He can hit a home run.
Yeah.
I really don't love the cheap options in the outfield. They're fine, but I would much rather play like McCutchen and Reynolds and Adalis Garcia or like Eloy Jimenez or Robert, like at least mid-tier stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. Guys, we have a little more than 10 minutes, 12, 13 minutes here until lock. Let's do some home run picks. And I'll put Tim on the spot here. Give me something chalky and then something a little sneakier.
I want to go with Suzuki. He's probably on the sneakier side, but it's not going to be like super sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
And then
you don't have to give me something chalky.
Most
you have to give me something sneaky.
You know who I want? I'll do Ellie Dela Cruz. That's who I want. That's who I want. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what his odds are. But I want him to hit a homer to me.
His odds are good. Those are his odds.
That's
He's
right. They're good enough. They're good enough.
Cheese, what are your thoughts here? You got a couple names for me?
Connor Joe.
Yes. Does he hit home
really
runs?
like
Does Connor Joe hit home runs? Is that a thing?
He does.
Okay.
He better tonight.
Yeah.
I guess let's try to. I'm trying to get a little different. I'm going to go for hitters against good pitchers for home runs. I'm going to say Christian Walker and Rowdy Tellez.
Okay.
In that game.
Very good. All right. That leaves us with some time to get into some QQs, and I think we should do that. Also, hey, make sure you hit us with a thumbs up and a subscribe. It's free content, literally. This dude has won multiple millions of dollars. This guy is a DFS cash wizard. There's no reason why you shouldn't be hitting a thumbs up and a like button for us. Cheese, if you take down a GPP, you got to buy a Connor Joe jersey.
Yeah, it's almost certain to be one of the half of my lineups that doesn't have Connor Joe that wins it. I will still do it though, probably.
All right. I am jumping in the RG Discord. Going to take some QQs here. Scrolling up just a little bit. Okay. Let's see. FanDuel Cash in a battle of hot garbage. That is a great way to start the questions. Tim, FanDuel Cash in a battle of hot garbage. Votto or Alfaro straight up. And do you see any pinch hit risk with either?
I will look up. I would still say Votto, but I'll look up the pinch hit risk.
Okay. ProShare says QQ for both. Cheese, you can start. Says I'm a little torn here. Single bullet in the $15 GPP and the $16 Q. You want a Rangers or a Padres stack?
Slightly into the Rangers.
And believe it or not, Tim, we have another Alfaro and Votto question.
So for what it's worth, Alfaro has an 18% risk for pinch hit, and Votto has 0. So for cash games, I want to go, even though Alfaro is rated a little bit better, I still would rather have the 0% pinch hit risk. And they're very projected very, very closely.
Great. Okay. DK Cash, Tim, coming right back to you here. McLean or India?
Both are great. I'd say India, but they're both great.
All right. Cheese, FanDuel Cash for you. Robert, Soto, or Yelich? So this is the spend up question, basically, right?
I would Soto that.
Okay. DK Cash, Cheese, right back to you. McLean or Robert?
Robert.
MT Red Sox says, no joke. I literally just got out of Dulles International and need to know if there are any weather concerns and do we like the Red Sox? I can handle half of that question. There are minor concerns of a potential delay in both Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. There are not concerns to the level that I think you should not play hitters or, not just do what you were going to do. And I will stress about the concerns. Cheese, you can answer the, do we like the Red Sox tonight?
I could put them as high as 8th. If 8th counts as good for you. So not really, but playable in MME.
Sure. Okay. FanDuel single entry, Tim, Soto, Grichuk, or Adalis Garcia and Tauchman?
Let's go Garcia Tauchman.
Okay. I feel like I've asked this question 7 times already, but maybe it's a different version. FanDuel Cash, Tim, Soto, Robert, Reynolds.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first name.
It was Soto, Robert, or Reynolds.
I think it's Robert.
Okay. Fix says DKGPP Cheese is a full Cub stack different enough to make Burns and Scher's dog okay? That's a great question.
I think it is. Yes.
Okay, great. DK Cash Cheese, right back to you here. Diaz, Winker the Stinker, he typed it, not me, or Alfaro Grichik.
Alfaro Grichik, I guess.
Okay. J Sam's FanDuel GPP Tides a one-off of Swanson or Xander. And do you like Nolan Jones in your Rocky stacks?
I go Swanson, and yeah, Nolan Jones is great in your Rocky stacks. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to jump ahead in the YouTube chat to Colin's question, which is just cash pitchers on DK. Tim, who are your 2 cash pitchers on DK? I remember your SB2 was kind of like didn't.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Scherzer, and then I have decided to go Corbin Burns. But if you don't want to go Corbin Burns, then I would go Scherzer, James Paxton. That would be my choices for you.
Great. Derek in the YouTube chat says players are on the field warming up in Cincinnati. That is, of course, good to hear and good to see. Cheap FanDuel outfielder. Tim, I'm going to give this to you. 2,500 or less for a last piece. You got Frazier. You got Alec Thomas. You got somebody else.
Couchman.
Very nice.
What was the salary amount?
2,500 or less on FanDuel.
All right. That's not going to work then.
Nope.
Gotta find somebody here. Wow, it's pretty thin.
Yeah, like 2,600 is like loaded.
Yeah, 20 is loaded at 2,600.
25 it like does.
Even 2,700. Even 2,700. Like tons of people.
Rework it. Figure out a way to get $100.
I would,
especially in cash. In cash.
I really would.
Okay. Votto and Paxton. Cheese. He didn't say a format here, but Michael Miller says Votto and Paxton or McLean and Max.
I prefer Votto and Paxton, but that's very close.
They're both okay. All right. Andrew says Cheese, Cubs or Pirate stacks?
I lean Pirates, but I do like them both.
Okay. DK Cash, Tim, Jung or Machado? I feel like there's only one right answer to this. I don't know shit about baseball, but Jung or Machado?
I actually prefer Jung.
Okay, that was not the answer.
I know. I understand what you're saying. I mean, Machado's better, but Jung is, I think, he is $600 less, and I love the Rangers tonight, so I'm going to go with Jung.
Okay, very good. Way to not let me pressure you into answering differently. I'm proud of you. Verdugo, Tim, again, back to you. Verdugo or Morel Mushroom?
I think Morel.
Okay. Boss brought DKGPP Cheese. We got about 5 minutes until lock. Burns, Brown, or Kelly? Burns, Brown, or Kelly?
Burns.
Okay. Children upstairs just losing their minds. Just losing. You guys want to hang out for like 15 minutes after lock?
Yes.
It'd be great. Sorry, Sorry, how the show went long. Let me jump back into the RG Discord. Will Jesse Winker hit a home run this year? This year.
Yes, he will.
Ooh,
he will end with 6 home runs.
Ooh, okay, that is not a lot. Cheese, do you like Tucker for a FanDuel GPP?
I really do, yeah. Even in a Scherzer lineup.
Tim, FanDuel GPP, Davis or Mikasa Sukasas?
I think Mikasas Kakasas.
Okay.
Whatever you said.
Yeah. Okay. FanDuel Cheese, did you prefer Pax to Max in cash?
Yes, Paxton's my SP1.
Okay. Very good. Yoshida, Tucker, or Belly, Cheese? Yoshida, Tucker, or Belly? FanDuel GPP.
Tucker.
Okay. FanDuel GPP in the util, Tim. In this type of matchup, do you prefer Vaughn with lower strikeouts or Cheeseburger with more strikeouts and more power in a mini stack?
I think Vaughn.
Okay. Very good. Scrolling back over, jumping back to the YouTube where people can hit that thumbs up for us. One lineup on FanDuel, Tim, Burns or Paxton? Single entry.
I say Paxton.
Okay. DK Cash must have batters. This is always kind of a fun question for me, actually, Cheats. This is from Ashvin Suresh. Not one, just like these are your core guys that you feel like you got to have in cash. Should I ask that to Tim?
You should.
Okay.
I think I like Vaughn quite a bit, and Tauchman.
Great. Okay. Very nice. Hammer, that's funny. Hammer's woofing in chat.
Oh,
right now.
sorry. And can I just say another thing about must have in cash?
Please.
Henry Davis. Yeah.
Oh.
The catcher. Yeah, you really have to play Henry Davis.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha. That's my bad. But
It is a good place to save.
Yeah.
I mean, he's minimum. salary.
You must play him in cash.
Okay. And thank you for telling me who he was because I had no, and you're like, the catcher.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The cheap catcher.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's the one thing I love when these guys come up from the minors. I do love when they have good plate discipline. Like he walks like 18% of the time at AAA. I mean,
Nice.
limited sample, but that like it
He
gives
really
you a little bit of a floor.
he really is a major league hitter already, in my opinion. So I mean,
Yeah.
like he's ridiculous.
He's not just somebody who's minimum salary. Somebody who's minimum salary who's probably going to be good.
Yeah. Okay. Great. FanDuel cash in the util, Tim, Suzuki or Vaughn?
Is that in a GBP?
This was FanDuel cash.
Oh, okay. Vaughn, I think.
Okay. Bates says, any love for Duran and FanDuel cash cheese?
I mean, it's not terrible. I assume that's E Duran. There's
Yes.
2 Durans today.
Oh, it was
It's okay. You can play any Texas batter in cash, and I don't think it's terrible. He's not like a priority for me, though.
Okay. Raj says, hey, Cheese, hope all is well. Just got to the party. Who's your favorite punt play since Matty C is out? Can I pivot to Casas?
Yeah, I did just have to change a carp lineup. That lineup now is terrible. So I guess this means that Raj missed all the Connor Joe talk. I would play Connor Joe ahead of Casas. But yeah, he's in play as well.
Okay, great. FanDuel cash, Tim. It's a 3v3 for you. We are less than a minute into lock. Make sure you get those lineups in. Make sure you hit us with the thumbs up. Paxton, McMahon, Senzel, or Max India Robert?
Both good. Both good. I like the second one better.
Very good. DK Cash, Tim, Vato, or Grichuk?
DK, it's Grichuk.
Okay. Davis or Votto on FanDuel cheese from Oz Beasley.
Who'd you say?
It was Votto or Davis.
Votto.
I think we lost Roth.
What? Did you?
No, you're back. You're
Okay.
back now. Yep,
All
you're
right,
back.
my internet's been a little wonky here lately. I don't know what's up with that. Most important question of the day from Hammer Cheese as we've hit the lock now. Connor Joe or Joe, Connor?
Yes.
Can't miss that. Either way, you're a winner, baby. Either way, somebody's going double dong. Oh, okay. Let's end it with this. Your favorite 3 stacks from Boss Bra. I will let you each answer this question. Tim, you can go first. Your favorite 3 stacks.
Cincinnati, Texas, and the Cubs.
Cheese?
Almost the same, with the third team being the other side of the same game. Cincy, Texas, Pittsburgh.
Very good. All right. Gentlemen, you got anything good for dinner before we get out of here? Anybody got plans yet?
I'm going to be having some Chinese food.
God, that sounds good. Like takeout, or you're not cooking it?
I'm having steak. I'm having steak.
Shit, I gotta step my game up. I was gonna do I don't know, grilled chicken, but I can't compete with Chinese food and steak. So
You cannot.
I gotta step some shit up. I'll figure it out. Hey guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. For Cheese, for Tim, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.